Probably, testing 1, 2, 3. Yeah. It's it's me. It's the Bluetooth. So we have a speaker up there.
Okay.
And have a speaker in here. Then it's my feedback. So what that means is I might not hear very good because I'm going to be listening to what everybody else hears, and I'm used to listening to hearing it. So
Okay. Because yeah, there's no.
Not trying louder. We did we also just compare that to things. That's right. No problem. All right, let's call $1 billion. See if we have a quorum. Disparity women. Disparity. No. Maybe it's not here yet. Stop.
Here.
And
Please, can you mute this? Thompson?
maybe her phone again. About. We have a quorum.
I'm just in the car.
You have a quorum, so the call the meeting over to any public comments.
No public comment, sir.
We're going to go information out of the part. We have 2 more members that are going to be here within hopefully the next 30 minutes to an hour. Doing the information items.
First one's mine.
Agenda item is the first one is Paul.
Yes, sir. Good morning. And this item is for our federal grants. So in accordance with ESSA, we're required to provide a opportunity for public comment before we submit the applications. And so that's what this is. There is an attachment, but the ESSA consolidated grant that we're applying for, it includes Title I, which is improving basic programs, Title II, which is supporting effective instruction, and Title IV, which is student support and academic enrichment, as well as the special education consolidated grant, IGFB. And Title IV and Title II, because of the smaller dollar amounts, when we complete the application, we roll those up into Title I. So all the monies are combined with Title I. And for the most part, we've used the funds similarly for the past few years. And so if you look at the chart, Title I, this school year, $486,963. 82% of that is going to be for staffing, which is the community liaison at each campus. And then we also have the funds there for summer school, as well as academic software, compliance software, and then targeted professional development with travel. And then Title II and Title IV are the ones that are rolled into Title I. And their dollar amounts are $37,504 for Title IV, $57,121 for Title II. And those combine to pay the salaries for the DICs, the district instructional coordinators. And then if additional funding is needed, that's also coming out of the staffing part of Title I Part A. And then Title III is a very small dollar amount, $19,806. So we opt for a shared service arrangement with Region 20 to receive professional development and access to information from Region 20. IGFB is another large grant. We're receiving, they go up this year. So we're receiving $261,683. 88% of that is to staff the special education associate teachers. And then there's quite a bit. We've been increasing that amount, so it's 11% for support services, which is e-therapy for counseling, auditory services, speech services, for the special populations of students. And then again, there's a small amount for targeted professional development, travel support,
Jim, just for the record, which one of those do we have to do maintenance? F,
and that by Gibby.
I think it was the one.
And then Perkins 5 is the last one. It's a small dollar amount as well, 16,794. So we also opt for a shared service arrangement with Region 20 for those funds. And so Mr. Showers works with the representative of Region 20 for CT programming, professional development, things like that.
And Jim, the SCLs we have to, they can't, because they're paid out of federal funds.
Yeah, that's the first one title. So 82% of that $500,000 goes to the staffing of the student community based on the SES.
They have, you know,
Maintenance of effort,
we always fussing about how to use it.
yeah, I mean, it's required that because they're federally funded, they are limited to a specific job duty, which is representing the students. Making sure that they attend, making sure that they maintain their grades, calling parents, calling homes, connecting with community stakeholders, things like that.
Thank you.
And they can be used very limited for other duties, controlling lunch and things like that, but very limited. So with that, the recommendation is just to review this information and then approve or you can change some of the items. But we will, with approval, I plan to submit the application before the end of June. Because then we can have continue, if we get it in before July, we can have it continue. But otherwise you have to wait to start in September.
Questions, comments? Jim, thank you. Welcome. You'll have to move me forward since you disconnected me from everything.
I'm sorry, Mr. Clemens. I apologize. Is that better?
Agenda, then below routine in nature has been reviewed in advance administration. So we are approved for a consent agenda for this meeting, but we have to approve this policy for next year in order to.
That is
Consent agenda next year. Is that correct?
that is correct, and that will happen at a
Action item.
yes. Yes, sir.
We have no action on things, so. This, you have this as an action item.
Do you want me to go down low so you can at least get on the device? I'm gonna look in so you can just, you don't have to read it again.
So you have this as an action item, but it's in, okay, I can't, again, all I can see is what you're showing me. So,
So as long as
objection to these items be adopted if there are no objections to these items, or adopted. If there are no objections, these items are adopted.
okay, no objection.
Yeah, I have it, so, sure. But it was sent to me in, it's there, but, so. I saw. Access to open it up.
You like me to go ahead and move forward with the website?
Sure.
Good morning, everyone. We have, with us today, if you all remember some time ago, we brought a contract to have our website redesigned. And so, it's actually going live today, I believe. And, Carl and I had a chance to vet it, the last time, and I think that we could agree that it's pretty impressive, and the changes that have been made, by thanks to Carrie. She worked with Mo to give him the information, and they kind of did the designing together. And so at this time, I would ask Mo to share with us the latest and greatest version of the RMA website, and kind of, you may want to start out showing us what we had, Mo, and then where we're going, so that the board can really see the difference.
Fantastic. How's everyone doing? Good morning. Morning. All right. Let me know when am I able to share now? Can you guys see my screen? I'm trying to share. All right. Everyone seeing the screen? Okay. Hello? Can you guys hear me? Fantastic. All right. Well, thanks for the introduction. Pleasure to meet everyone. I'm Madupe, Vertec. One of the things we were tasked to do was to simplify the website so that folks can find it useful, user-friendly, and more importantly, so that it's engaging, right? So when people come on there, they can have engaging content. And the thought factor was that we wanted to utilize AI quite a bit in the back end so that we're not constantly waiting for the administrators to come up with how they format content or how they design content or how they even push out content. All of those can be automated through the backend services that we've added to this application. This is the former site you're looking at. One of the things is you can see that it's useful. The challenges here is to focus, right? Where do you focus your eyes? How do you know what to do, when to do it? Or the flow was a bit more overly simple, if you will, so that it's quite difficult to just engage the portal at this point. So what we did is we took all the contents here, working with Carrie and the team to understand the requirements and to understand what was needed, and the result was let me expand my screen right quick. Okay, the result was this portal you're now looking at. And what this does is it allows the user to focus on a number of things. One is obviously the menus jump right at you. You can see what they're telling you. You can go right into them. And, you can, the first thing that Dr. Anderson wanted was, I want people to enroll. So we put that at the center of the focus, right? For folks to enroll on the portal. They can also go into different content as we begin to aggregate content for the school, which is videos of students communicating their passion about the school and so on and so forth. We can have those in the background here running on the flow. We also had a scrolling banner.
Oh, you'll be recording those stories for us, correct? Here
Yes,
soon?
yes. We'll be helping you guys record those. Yeah, we have a production setup here that we can use. So that's correct. We also have here, this is the bar of where we were told that you guys always need to have a banner of some sort where folks can quickly go and get the latest and greatest information. That is also here. Under here is a replacement for where you apparently there's some key links that you have to have ready to go for your users to see when they come to the portal. These are those key links we've provided for you guys here. And I'll come back to that in a minute here. This banner you're seeing here is AI generated. So now the admin can come in there and put a couple of verbiage and tell our tool, and I'll show you how the tool edits what to do. And we'll be helping with a lot of this, by the way. I keep saying admin, but I mean in the event that we have to train some folks to just use this easy to use application to update content, we'll be able to do so. It will generate this kinds of image. So this is a contrast to the kind of image that is cluttered and just difficult to understand, right? So, that's the goal of that. The enrollment, again, you see, it jumps right back at you. So you can go from the link we've provided you here, but as you navigate the site is also here for you to move through and navigate through. Now, if you're not signed in, I'm signed in right now. If you're not, it will bring you to these two links where it doesn't even feel like you're signing in, but really you have to register to move forward. And each step of the registration sends a message to the team and the administrator to say, this person has started the application. This is the stage they are in the application. And it also tells the user where they're at so they can continue the process. Again, automating this process was pivotal because Dr. Anderson didn't want folks to lose track of where they're at, number one, but more importantly, to complete the process. We also have the events here. As you can see, this was a replacement for some of the things we had where, this kinds of stuff, right? We kind of cleaned it up a little bit to be more, succinct. So you put those kinds of information here, you go into the banner, you show the users these kinds of things. So they can see your stuff, they can understand, they can go to the appropriate link. Now, why did we do this? We did this because we didn't want this model concept is you see it across the site for everything. And because we can now edit this component at one go, and everything in the site automatically is updated without having to update pages and pages and designing and custom designing pages. In some cases, what you're seeing here, the AI actually takes the information, and we've trained it, the LLM, to actually extract data from this information and make it readable for the user. So you can attach an image, and the image data is extracted, and the user can then subsequently use it. You can also expand this to full screen if you wanted to, so that now it looks like its own site, like this is the whole site itself. So the user can actually interact with this content. And then when you close it, you go back to the normalcy of the site. The calendar information is also very straightforward. You can go in here to see what's going on the calendar, the events. You click on this, it pops up the event that is happening. You can actually read and stuff. Now, there's something we just finished yesterday that we're going to add to this. I don't know if anyone uses Calendly here. So we built a feature because you guys also have a mobile application that we're built along this site. That Calendly feature is going to be in that mobile application for you guys, so people can actually schedule when they want to visit, or see calendars, availability calendars of folks they want to have meetings with. So that's that. And then you can see also information on the calendar is also displayed here as you go. So you can actually look at, on a date basis, or you can go into the actual calendar and enjoy what's being posted. Extra information. This is just some extra information. Again, if you go into any of this extra information, notice that it pops up in the same modal concept. And why did we do this? We just keep wanting people to get used to how the information is pushed to them in this format, so that their eyes gets used to the process of it, right? So, and once they're used to it, then they can come back to the site and find it easy to use because they know where everything should be, if you will. The
Well, also, because you clicked on transcript and one of the things that we've asked Mo to do is because it used to be that student wanted a transcript, they had to go on, print out a form, and that was it. It was just a PDF of a form. Now they're going to be able to request the transcript electronically, correct, Mo? If they
Yeah, so if you look at this, so I'll come back to the map in a minute. So if you look at what we have now, so we have this thing called forms. Now you can get to the forms from anywhere, and this is important to note because all this means is this link you see here is what, well, it will be your link, the school link, will be what people would just need to have, well, is what we tie to other properties for them to know when they get here. It will be bringing up the transcript. So you can see here it says transcript request, right? So which means if you're, yeah, well, let me explain differently. When a user comes here, and what's important is we took all the fields that were required by the transcript field form that the school uses today, and we put them together here, and then we told AI that do it in a way where we can have steps to it, so that we don't lose track of people. People don't want to fill a long form, so they don't get disinterested or whatever. So that's what this is now. You can see that the transcript is this. So you go through the steps, you fill out all the information, and this is the same transcript form your school uses today. So that's what this is. And when they complete this form, it sends an email with a request to the admin saying this so person has requested their transcript, and this is they would like to blah blah blah. And you can see the other forms here. So if I come here and I just came here for transcript and I'm like, I know I want to do some other applications. Why did we do this? We did this thing in forms because we feel like I know the way I think. I don't want to go find some other parent link to now find what I'm looking for. I just want to be able to know where all my forms are and go to the right form that I need based on my interest and then fill the form. So that's why we put all of this here. So if you click on them, you see the alumni update form, the RMA Texas School Bullying form. All of these forms are here again with the next, and that's AI, where we're applying AI to be able to do the flow correctly. The COVID. Now this thing is dated, Dr. Adam. I don't know if you guys have an updated version of this. I don't know if this 2020 means something.
So it actually can be removed, right, Christina? That was done away with, so it can actually come off.
All right, so I meant to ask that question, and then the job search filter. So you have the job search filter here, where people can come in here, and then again, you can get this from its own link from employment. You remember that you saw that employment stuff, or you can come into forms and get it. And then when you come in here, you can go to next. You see the job preferences, category, grade level, blah blah blah, and then you can attach your resume, and the resume is extracted into a text, but also sent as a PDF. So you can have it. And why are we doing that? We're doing that because we can use the text to do analysis. So at some point when we talk to the school may say, we want to be able to catch these keywords in a resume that we're looking for talent. So we don't have to go through a million resumes. So that's why we're doing this here.
Now, Mo, I was at a conference the other day, and some organizations are now using AI to screen candidates.
Yes, that's what that is. That's what I just showed you. So we have a backend engine that does that, but you do that by extracting the text of the resume, and then you use the keywords. We train the LLM based on what the school is interested in. So you can just send us an audio or type of some text that I need a candidate that is strong with A, B, C, D, and has experience with blah, blah, blah. And that information then is used by an AI engine to go through the resumes and see who is best fitted for that job. Now, I would recommend not to limit the search to those AIs just because we don't want to be part of the issue of obsoleting good candidates just based on logic. All right. We have the school location information here where you can go through here and see the actual address of the school. You can also go in here. The tooltips will provide you that information. And if you wanted to navigate, you can click on there and it takes you to the Google map and you can navigate to the school. All right. Any questions about that?
Mo, are we able to add the school telephone number for ease?
Yeah, we can add phone number, we can add anything to this. And maybe that's a good time to show you how the editing works. So if you go here, if I click on the edit mode for us, the admins, or whoever you appoint or deputize to do so, this is where they'll go to edit that information. You can see here that we have the address. We can easily add a field for phone number and so on and so forth. But this is where you edit the addresses seamlessly. And we can add whatever other properties we need to add, we can add them. And they will show up on the tooltip. They will show up when you come in there on the they will show up on the on the tips. They'll show up in here along with other information. All right, so Deepo, are you on the call? Can you take a note of that, please? All right. And then the board members, we're doing something here, and I don't know. So this right now goes to the email if you want to contact the board member. So what we've done is we've added this form that when you click on that link now in the future, it would. I haven't added it here. Have I? No, I have not. Well, it's going to take you to a form, and that form is going to be what you will use now to send the email, as opposed to just going to to this. So you're not going to be using this anymore. It's going to go to a form, and the form will ask for your name, email, blah blah blah, and then the message. And then it takes that. And the reason we're doing that is because Dr. Anderson wanted to make sure that there's no bots sending emails, right? Because as it is now, you can have a robot sending a bunch of emails that is not a real person. And then we have the chatbot. The chatbot is this is where you can ask tell me about RMA or something like that. I'm not sure if I can spell, right? And it goes and it has this little funny looking avatar, and then it brings up RMA public school, network school, blah, blah, blah. So you can ask questions to this thing. What it does is it uses our logic to go into our data set and takes the data set, which is the configuration of the site, and finds the best way to answer these questions. But we train it as we go, obviously, so that it gets better.
And what if they ask, how do I enroll in RMA? Would it then take them to the link for the form?
Well, let's check it out. You might not know that. Now we have to train it better, but how do I enroll?
Well, good. Well, Mo, we've got a lot to do, so we just want to give an overview of the website. And so at this time, we appreciate you, and we're going to move on to our next agenda.
All right, we're going to jump off here. Thanks, everyone. Cheers.
No question.
Oh, any questions? I'm sorry. Any questions? All righty. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Have a good weekend.
Bourgeois next on the agenda. I've really enjoyed his presentation the last 2 years. Look forward to that. Dr. Bourgeois, are you with us?
Dr. B,
Hey,
are you there?
Yes, sir.
Morning. How are you?
Good. How are you, Dr. Anderson? Good to see you.
See you. Good to be seen. All right. Well, we'll turn it over to you, as always, for our district climate and culture survey results.
All right. Excellent. Thank you. Can you all hear me loud and clear?
yes.
All right. Well, I'm Steve Bourgeois of Ahart Solutions, and we've been working with RMA for multiple years, and this is the third year of a 3-year study, so everything will be similar, and I'm going to be looking at more year-to-year comparisons as opposed to campus to campus. And if I could, I'll share my screen and start the presentation. All right, so I should be showing my board report now. I just need a thumbs up, and then I'll go, so I'm not sharing something I don't think I am. Perfect. So I'm going to be going through the 3 parts, staff, parent, and student, focusing on year-to-year change, but also some by campus. And then I'll finish up with some recommendations based upon all 3 of the surveys. So first of all, the staff, and this whole section is staff, so you'll see it clearly labeled here. Participation is always important. And you can see a little lower this year than previous. I think 2024 was high for all three services or surveys, but this one definitely dropped as far as participation. Then we have by year and campus or group. And if you look at 2025, this is very important because we want our groups to have 10 to be confident to generalize the findings, and we have a few that are getting a little low, particularly Pasadena and Midland, where we might think about an asterisk there. Can we generalize from those findings? But we want 10 or more typically, which is what we've had in the past. So this is the structure of many of these slides. We have the current year to the left, and then the 3-year, and the circle in the middle would be an average for the 3-year. So that's how we'll be interpreting this. Anything with colors indicate that this value is significantly above the mean score for this analysis, and then the same thing here. So that's what those mean. And I'll start by talking about this year and then the comparison, then I'll move on to the next topic. So this is a single item on environment perceptions of staff members, and you can see that there's some pretty big differences by campus here, which suggests different perceptions of staff, mindful that these are relatively small groups of staff members. So be looking for are there consistencies of school across some of these slides? Overall, there is a drop for the staff members in 2025 from last year on this item. The next item is safety. Do the staff perceive it to be a safe environment? So you get some of these similar differences. But notice that this is in blue and this is in red, and statistically speaking, these other ones are relatively basically the same to each other. They're close to the mean score, but you have a couple of outliers. Same pattern of a drop in perceptions of safety from 24 to 25. So that's something to look for on all these items. Staff perceptions of student kindness. This is always low at a high school level, and it's low here as well. And it's something to look at closely because that value for 2025 is low. I think you're going to see that the staff perceptions in general are going to be much lower than the parent, certainly, and the student. So I guess I'm starting with the bad news first, and then it gets better. But definitely there's a drop in staff perceptions this current year from last year across all of these items. Perceptions of bullying, once again, over 3 years for RMA, it has dropped in this pattern we're seeing on basically all of the slides, and we're seeing this pattern as well. So there's a lot of consistency here. Disruptive behavior, similar, and we have clearly there's a perception of staff that this is a problem, and it seems to be a growing problem. The campuses are actually statistically the same, even though the bars are different, but it takes into account sample size why those are not significant differences. But overall, you can see the 3-year trend. Intention to return, and this is always interesting because I just showed you that there's a drop in perceptions of campus culture, but it has made no difference as far as staff members and their intention to return to RMA. So I would look at real attrition, and I'm not privy to those numbers, but is there an attrition problem? That would be something to investigate. But as far as their intentions, when they took this about a month ago, their intention was to return. And that number is very stable across all of our AHEART solution surveys. So this is about what we would expect. And in fact, these are a little bit on the high side. Net Promoter Score, we're familiar with that. We've discussed it every year. And I think it creates the biggest statistical spread for any measure. It's a very stringent one because we're looking at zeros through sixes, that's a big category. It comes right out of the business world. So there are a lot of comparisons here, but you can see that we take the percentage of promoters, subtract the detractors, and we get the net promoter calculation. This is a staff survey, and of course, we're looking and hoping for a positive number here. But you can see that one of the campuses, Corpus, which has been at the top on the other analyses, is positive, and then we have some negative numbers here as well. Let's look at the year-to-year trend. And it's really been up and down. Even though 2024 is a negative number, it represented a big improvement from 2023. But then we have a low staff perception. So that's clear from all of this. And you can see that 58% of the current year would be considered detractors, meaning they scored the campus on recommending as a place to work 0 through 6. And you'll notice on the other analyses that the net promoter score will be just simply recommending RMA from the student and from the parent standpoint. But the staff as a workplace, that's a number that's definitely of concern. And you'll notice that the AHEART average, and this comes from thousands of responses nationally, we tend to get a positive response from staff. 31 has been our average for quite some time now. We want to look for drivers of these results. And so I analyzed all of the qualitative comments from staff members, and it's grouped by positive comments and then areas for improvement. So there were a lot of positive comments on the desire to help students grow, that there was a supportive culture. So all of this is mixed, and it's a complicated story. Leadership does come up on both sides of this, and so some did have a positive response to leadership, and remember that they're thinking about their leader more than the district leadership. So there's a campus-to-campus difference. The staff values their perceptions of autonomy and flexibility, mission alignment. I think a lot of the staff are there because they agree with the alignment and serving this student population. And they did mention opportunities to grow professionally. And then we're going to end on the suggestions, or is there a comment there? I heard somebody. No. Okay. So the negative descriptions or suggestions, if you will, these are sorted from most frequent to least as far as these. So there is a weighting on these categories, but there were mentions of poor leadership, lack of professionalism, campus and central office leadership, staff perceptions of student discipline, lack of consistency, and even unsafe environments, undervalued. They talked about communication, and this will come back in the parent surveys as well. Inequity as far as workload. Remember that these are for everybody who's a staff member across response or RMA. So we're not talking about just a teacher survey. So that could be something about this. And then they're suggesting infrastructure issues, and this is campus to campus. But they brought up facilities and technology and resources. So that's the first section of this, and it does get quite a bit better as far as the parent perceptions, and we want to wonder why is it that the staff had a relatively negative experience, and then we're going to get a different story, a very different story from the parents. So unless our question, I'd rather go through all of this and then take them at the end if that's okay. All right, so the parent survey, we'll start out with the same structure. You can see a little bit lower in participation this year than last year. Last year, I think there were a lot of efforts behind the scenes to get responses from all three groups. It was definitely the highest, but we dropped off a little bit. Here, I sometimes look at that, or I do look at that as potentially a lack of engagement if those numbers are dramatically lower. And then you can see the campus to campus, and I mentioned that the target is to have at least 10 per group so that we can trust them at the campus level, and we certainly can here. These are decent numbers that we can generalize as far as what parents are saying about campuses, particularly in 2025. We asked a few questions that are about parents and why their child is there or what are their goals. And you can say that these items are relatively stable. About 2/3 are saying their goals are higher education, and that really hasn't changed across years. The same for trade schools, really none of these. So this shows that there's stability as far as what parents want and expect for their child. Interaction with staff is similar, is remarkably similar from year to year. But they're suggesting that staff is engaged. There is a perception of self-taught, which makes sense because if any mastery-based elements, they're going to perceive that. But it is, I think, remarkable that they're relatively consistent year to year. The parents. Areas for focus, that means what would they like RMA to do in the future to get better, and very consistent communication has been the top one for the last 3 years. Actually, always follow the same pattern: academic instruction, an area of focus, relationships and discipline, but very, very stable parent perceptions from year to year, unlike the staff members. Suggestions for implementation. So these are more specific suggestions for improvement. And you can see that across the 3 years, extracurricular options would be the top one. And we just gave them these choices here, and they're selecting, ranking them basically. Moving on to the greatest advantages, and this is really important from the marketing standpoint. And these top 3 categories are relatively similar. But I'll look at 2025, the flexible scheduling of classes align with their goals for the child. So that's the most important, but they also value the small size and the accelerated learning. So this is really not changed. Location is a factor for some, but not many. So it mainly has to do with the program itself. This is a little bit more specific because it has individual items. It's not just a general item on leadership. But the first thing I see, the parents' perceptions are relatively low compared to what I typically see. When parents evaluate the effectiveness of school leaders, it tends to be between 80 and 90. And so I wonder how much exposure the parents have to leaders to even evaluate, particularly at the high school level. We seem to see more families who know the leader in the younger grades. But this hasn't changed much item per item. And again, this is combining all schools across RMA. And this is a breakdown by year, and I shared this type of a slide a year ago. So it's a heat map showing those same items, and then an average, which I think is helpful just to get a feel for this. But there are definitely campus level differences, and they do tend to align with the staff. I recall that Corpus Christi was very high across all of the staff items, and it's similar here. And some of the lower ones were low by parents too. So this heat map, I think, is instructive to see areas potentially for professional development, but there are definitely marked differences at the campus level in parent perception of leadership. School culture. This is similar to leadership in that these are lower than we typically see for school culture and parent perceptions. There's very little year-to-year change here. So these have been stable. So you've essentially seen the same thing 3 years in a row with little change. And my recommendation is going to be, how do you address this? How do you, and a lot of it could be parent education. How do you inform them about the culture? And it also could be the culture itself, but these perceptions are low. And a second slide, just different items. Some of these are higher, as far as they're not experiencing bullying for their child. Diversity, that's a high number here, typically for parents. Their perceptions of the environment are relatively high. And then this kindness is low for everybody with high school students. Parental involvement, these numbers are not low or high. They're exactly what we tend to get. And particularly for high school, they're not bad at all. Parents tend to be more involved at the elementary and middle level. So these are, I wouldn't say they're concerning. It's what you get with high school parents, particularly when you have many older students. Net Promoter Score, once again, this always gets your attention because, suddenly we're looking at very high perceptions that they would recommend this. So it feels like they see a program that is needed and it works for their children, and others in similar circumstances would benefit from it. And so these are really encouraging numbers from parents. Lots of promoters here across the campuses. So this, as a board, I would look closely at this, and you can see we have a couple of negative net promoter scores, but most of them are very, very strong. And then when we look at year to year, once again, lots of promoters across years, and it does appear, yes, that this year went up from the previous year. So that is encouraging. The AHARD average is 46, so it's slightly lower. But for high schools, this is a good score. We tend to get higher ratings from elementary. So parent perceptions, it's a win. And I told you from the beginning that we're really getting three separate stories here. As far as the drivers of some of these results, the positives were reflected before, but this is again sorted from high to low. They valued the flexible and self-paced. They perceived the staff to be caring, and they're seeing that their students are improving in academic outcomes and in motivation. They value it as a positive environment and a safe environment, and they value the class sizes. And then on the negative side, they're talking about communication, and once again, these are sorted from high to low. So parents are pretty forthright about communication from the campus and or the central office, and they mentioned both. There are some differences school to school as far as leadership. They mentioned turnover, and I think they're not just talking about leader turnover, but turnover across RMA. They do have safety concerns as well, so they kind of have both sides of this. It's a safe, but also they have concerns. Some express concerns of academic rigor, general organization and follow-up, which it connects to communication. So these are areas for improvement. Support services, it did come up about special ed services and needing to address that for some families. And then I want to transition to students. And this is kind of a combined story. I wouldn't say it follows the staff or the parent. It's unique, but as far as participation, a really good year again. And the method of giving these to students is working. That's a strong participation. You are getting some good numbers of students. When a campus is low in participation, that to me is also a proxy of engagement and some type of an organizational flaw that they're not getting responses. So again, I would look at that to see why we don't have feedback. At the same time, I would be wary or cautious, I would say, about what these students are saying, because we're only generalizing 4 students here or 8, and the others are solid numbers. Same analysis, and you can see there's differences by campus. And these patterns are starting to look very familiar as far as which campuses, particularly Corpus, is at the top here. But this is definitely a pattern. Year to year, you are going to see this type of a drop from last year, which was a very strong year from students. But this is about welcoming environment, and so student perceptions have dropped from a year ago. Perceptions of safety. This Corpus has a large sample size, so it's heavily weighted in this and in this actually. But this is a meaningful drop in students' perceptions of safety. So it dropped from a year ago. So the pattern hasn't been established, but it seems to be dropping at least right now. The perceptions of bullying, these numbers are relatively low, but they're in fact very similar to last year for your student population. Student kindness is always low with students, but it does tend to get a little bit higher with high school students. So this is concerning. We tend to get our lowest, in the range of 20 or so with seventh graders, but not high school students. So it's something to look at, and this is a big drop from a year ago. So it points to some cultural issues at campuses, but for high school, these numbers are pretty low. Disruptive behavior, similar pattern. This is not a significant drop, and that's why it's not in red or blue. So essentially, these 3 years have been identical, but you can see some meaningful differences in campuses, but be mindful of the number of students behind some of these numbers. The Net Promoter Score for students, they're almost always negative for students, and they tend to get worse as students get older. So you can see a lot of detractors from your student population. It is helpful sometimes to look at the calculation, but just looking at detractors tells you a lot as well. And then you can see you have some promoters in this campus from the student perspective is very high. But again, look at how many students are behind that, and it doesn't look like a lot of students there. And then year to year, we do see a drop. So the Net Promoter Score tends to support what the whole survey shows. And so if we see a bunch of dropped scores, then you're definitely going to see a drop also in Net Promoter Score. So it was encouraging a year ago, and then it definitely dropped this year. The AR average is 14, but this is across all grade levels. I would say that our Net Promoter Score for high school is around 0, honestly. But not a negative number. So that is definitely a concern. The students had some very positive things to say as they typically do, and this is again ranked. So they value the scheduling, the self-pace. They have supportive teachers, very patient. They consider it a safe environment compared to their previous schools, and they have fewer distractions, and they like to be able to catch up. So these are all what we would hope to see and what we have seen in previous years. These comments are all from the current year, and I should have said that before. And then the negative ones, they're noticing some leadership as far as being responsive, organized. Students mention that some of their work is repetitive, so that might be worth some follow-up as well. Some inconsistencies from teacher to teacher. These are some pretty descriptive terms: loud, chaotic environments. It definitely depends on the school and the classroom here, but they definitely noted that. So they mentioned outdated materials and some lack of support. So that would be the survey, and I thought that it would be helpful if I did a bit of a summary. And so I want to give you my takeaways from this in the form of recommendations, and then I'll pass it on to questions. But based on the staff responses, I recommend consistency across classroom for classroom management, looking at some of these campuses with low staff perceptions and target those because there's definitely campus differences. Communication and trust on the campus level seems to be behind a lot of the low scores. And then there are committed staff members, and we need to address, why NPS is dropping. And so I think looking at the lower campuses on that score would be very helpful. For parents, as always, communication can be improved. Safety concerns, there's enough of them that it's worth look, particularly by campus. Visibility of leadership, and I'm talking about campus and district leadership. Extracurricular options, as you saw, was consistently a recommendation for 3 straight years. From the students, they did mention behavior and perceptions of discipline, so that seems to be on their mind. They brought up, as I mentioned just a few minutes ago, concerns for classroom quality and leadership. But they do value the flexibility and to reinforce those. So they're there for a reason. And I think that the support of teachers can't be understated. The teachers want to be there with that student population. I'm going to back up. I accidentally hit that. And then consistency across campuses. It's something I've mentioned every year, but that seems to be a perception of students as well. This is the 3rd year of 3 years, and I think you all are very wise to keep the same survey, and I always recommend that if we do this again. But we're shifting at AHEART Solutions and really focusing on a index that we've developed for staff, parent, and student that gives you comparison data. Because right now your level of comparison is this year to last year to the year before, or comparing the 9 different campuses at RMA. And we have a large data set. And we're recommending to all of our clients that they use our index so that you can compare to our national sample, but also to other schools. We work with a lot of credit or recovery campuses in Texas. And so we can compare apples to apples. So we'd recommend, rather than designing your own survey, use the one that we have that has that comparison. I wonder the process that you have to review data, and I'm particularly interested in what you do with the campus leaders. Are they reading the data? Are they looking at their comments? Are they setting goals based upon this? Because there's some really valuable information here, and it's not valuable if it's not used or acted upon. So I hope that if there's not a process, there should be, and we recommend that. And then using selecting more narrow goals and putting resources there. You can't boil the ocean. You can't look at all of these, but select some strategic goals across RMA and then use this type of a survey, hopefully AHEART Solutions, to track those goals. And thank you again for giving me all this time.
Thank you, Dr. Bourgeois. Any questions?
I think, again, very interesting. I'm not sure, for how this is used for us now. It is interesting. Some instances you have to say, like Pogo card thing, we're the problem looking for us. And so as usual, so people in it believe that we're for us are not very positive. I think it's pretty common across the world with heavy. I'm not sure what
Aside from, I'd like someone to discuss with me how we collect data, the collection process.
For this survey?
No, I don't want to do that today. I just said on the side note.
Okay. And yeah, we'll be sharing this at the principal retreat, Dr. B, and I may get you to join in on that particular piece as well.
Okay, I would love to be part of that. And if you need anything else as far as breaking down the results, sometimes I create campus folders, meaning, so each principal gets to see their own data and read every comment. And so you share them with individuals, but not across all them. And that might be another way to get because we have 3 years of data, so a lot they could chew on.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you all, and have a great day.
See you again.
All right. Bye.
Not on the agenda, our there's for community education and volunteer programs, so he was first report. Norman Derrick, are you with us?
Yes, I'm sorry. It was a little bit hard to hear. So, I am here. I know some of the RMA Education Foundation board members were also hoping to join, so they might be joining us any minute now. But hello, everyone. It's so great to see you all. Again, we definitely are making some more headway with the foundation. So as we look ahead into 2025, 2026, I thought it was definitely important to bring all the board members together from both the trustees and the foundation. And so I think we have some updates as to what's been accomplished and a little bit of a summary, and then where we're at, what our projections are going to be for next year. So we do have 5 board members currently, and so each board member does know that they are responsible for committing to a financial responsibility, whether that's from their company, from their own personal giving, or helping to secure corporate donors, grants, or sponsors. So that puts us at 25,000. We did have some mini fundraisers. The number is actually around $1,000. I think mini fundraisers are very important because it's serving 2 purposes. It's actually serving community awareness, creating awareness for the different schools, for the district, and for the foundation, letting people know, hey, we exist, help our students, answer questions, really just be ambassadors and create that awareness. And then the more mini fundraisers we do, that number will increase. We did host the annual reverse telethon here in Corpus Christi, bringing in, raising over $8,000. The corporate partnership, I have it broken down because part of it was attributed to one of the board commitments and part of it was attributed back into the corporate partnership account. So that total was 7,500, but that's how I divvied it up. And then we've submitted a total of $44,250 grants that are currently in review. I know at least one of them has an announcement date coming up in August, and some of them don't provide that information. We just keep checking the portal or keep hoping we receive an email. So in total revenue, it's over 16,000. Total committed is 20,000. And then, of course, that total in review number is still the same. Do we have any questions regarding the recap on the finances? We have established banking as well. The IRS determination letter, although approved in April, was just received this week. So with that in hand, we're able to pursue partnerships, grants, and other funding opportunities even more ferociously, I would say, because we want to raise a lot in a short amount of time to hit all of our goals that we have for next year. So we can move on into the goals that we have for next year. Oh, yes. And so we were able to do another check presentation here in Corpus Christi. And so I think these public news segments are very important. Again, we're always going to be, the foundation always knows that one of our jobs not only is to fundraise, but is to create community connections and bring awareness to the RMA schools itself so that we can help drive new enrollments, drive alumni engagement, and drive parent engagement as well, because you have to have all those things for both of us to be successful. So, okay, so we'll go ahead and just take a quick look at that. And one of our, the valedictorian actually got to be interviewed. And again, just really intentional about showcasing what RMA is all about and creating that awareness.
Hurricane season starts June 1st. Are you ready? The forecast. T3 named storms, 11 will be hurricanes, 5 being major, category 3 or stronger. Gulf Coast Hurricane Shutters is your source for hurricane protection products. With over 50 years of combined experience, we offer a wide range of quality products to protect your home or business. Don't wait until the storms hit. Visit us to ensure your protection. Stay safe this season. Gulf Coast Hurricane Shutters.
This graduation season, many high school seniors across the coastal bend.
Jennifer, we can't see the it's not changing. The screen is not changing. I think we can hear, but we can't see.
Oh, okay. Give me 1 second. Can you see the screen now?
Yes.
And can you hear?
Don't wait until the storm hits.
Yes.
Visit us
Okay,
to
perfect.
ensure your
We'll
protection.
run through this ad one more time.
Gulf Coast Hurricane Shutters.
Proudly fly the stars and the stripes. Michelle Hawk stars. Well, hey, tomorrow is Flag Day, folks, and we are keeping the beloved tradition alive, making sure everyone can proudly fly the stars and the stripes. Michelle Hoffman is live in your neighborhood.
That is not the same video.
But we do.
I have to refresh the page.
Let me refresh it.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Now we get to watch the commercial.
Yeah, it's their time.
Hurricane season.
Yep.
starts.
And y'all do.
Yeah,
got it.
11 will be hurricane, 5 being major,
You
category
listen
3
to
or
my dream
stronger.
to Dallas.
Gulf Hurricane Shutters is your source for hurricane
Thank you.
protection products. With over 50 years of combined experience, we offer a wide range of quality products to protect your home or business. Don't wait until the storms hit. Visit us to ensure your protection. Stay safe this season. Gulf Coast Hurricane Shutters.
This graduation season, many high school seniors across the coastal bend are running the risk of not walking the stage. I'm Alexis Scott, your neighborhood news reporter here in the Bay Area, learning how some students can't afford their cap and gowns, and one school has raised money to help. Graduation should be a moment of pride, but for some students, the price tag of that moment is just too high. At Richard Mulburn Academy Public Schools Corpus Christi, some seniors facing serious financial challenges almost had to skip out on walking the stage this year.
It's a very challenging thing, especially with, the price of caps and gowns.
Cash Cisneros is a graduating senior and is one of the 39 students looking ahead to the milestone. However, he wasn't sure how he would afford his cap and gown. That's until the school's newly founded RMA Education Foundation stepped in.
Makes me feel like there's someone in my corner rooting for me.
The foundation was able to raise more than $8,000 to help some in the class of 2025 receive their caps and gowns. They didn't know if they were going to walk that stage. They didn't know if their parents were going to be able to provide that $100 cap and gown for them, plus hassle. It was a big thing and a big obstacle for our families. But the funds don't stop there. The foundation plans to put some money in a student emergency fund year-round. The fund, RMA says, will help eliminate obstacles some students face, including transportation, housing, and other setbacks. Which is so meaningful because it shows that, hey, we're going to help support, remove the barriers, and work hand in hand with the campuses to support our kids and give them just that full circle support. For students like Cash, the support isn't just about money or caps and gowns. It's a chance to finish strong and walk into the next chapter of his future with pride.
I think it's so worth it. And to graduate, to be on that stage, to say, here's my diploma, hey, I did it.
RMA Public Schools have plans to work with other local organizations in the coastal bend to help boost their efforts in helping students. Near the Bay Area, I'm your neighborhood news reporter, Alexis Scott, Chris 6 News.
So I think that was a really great highlight and showcase of what we have done and what we're planning to do. The only thing I think would would add to that is to be able to connect people with more ways to give or get involved. And we're just not there yet, but moving ahead into next year, we're looking at getting our own website established and really having ways for people to donate year round and have that follow up on stories like this, so that we're not missing any opportunities. Okay, so looking ahead, we want to hit the ground pretty hard to really get that budget up and running and operational, and to actually be able to fund all the programs that we want to fund and are working to outline. So the top priorities will be to establish a timeline for the board commitments to be collected from members. The next thing to do would be to organize a big signature event. Our board members did share that in Midland, Odessa, the golf tournaments are causing too much expenses versus revenue. So we're going to reassess, but we are definitely looking to figure out what type of big signature event can we hold. And we've already discussed different roles. We have at least 3 committee members committed to helping iron this out, including a new prospective board member and our board secretary, Yvonne, who is on the call. And together with these 2 individuals, we have some past event fundraising experience. Just this year, Ms. Tasha led a fundraiser in Corpus Christi that raised over $60,000. So I feel very confident and in capable hands that we can create something that's going to really bring together the community and bring together those fundraising dollars. The third thing is going to be to, like I said, we don't have a website presence. We don't have an online system that allows for online giving or any corporate giving or any donors to give. At the reverse telethon, it was amazing because we got to find people we didn't realize were already connected to RMA. And we want to circle back to them because they want to do something bigger with us. There was an aunt of a student that works in a law firm. There was just a lot of different connections. We got to connect with an alumni. So we want to make sure that we circle back and create options for them to give year round and not just at one event. We're also going to be establishing the corporate donors prospect list. I just got commitment today that I do have a meeting with HEB Public Affairs next week. That Public Affairs office covers the Killeen campus. And so we're going to continue to work with corporate donors like that. Of course, Atmos Energy is already on that list. I want to go ahead and create a strategy that's for each individual market. So some corporate donors can give to cover the entire district, and some corporate donors are more localized. So making sure that we have a plan for each to be effective for the foundation and for the district is very important. A lot of donors, they want to donate and they want to know that where their funding is going, and they prefer it to stay local. So we have to work extra hard to craft that message that by giving to our foundation, we're going to make sure that the immediate need in that community is addressed, and then roll over the funding into the general fund for the foundation. So making sure that that's clear and transparent is very important, but it can be a little challenging at times. And then this has already been ongoing, but we're going to continue. Ms. Janice, she's on our board. We're going to be hosting weekly and or bi-weekly grant planning sessions. She's helping to write and submit grants. We're collaborating together. And then our next strategy will be to expand our grant plan to really target the community foundations that exist in each market. So for example, in Corpus Christi, there is a grant coming up, I believe it's August. And it is for operations. A lot of operational grants do not exist. A lot of the funds raised so far are earmarked for other programs and not the operational fund. So that grant is worth $10,000, and so we're going to try and seek out other opportunities like that exist in every single one of our school cities in each market. Was there any questions regarding the priority list or comments to see we're heading in the right direction?
Questions, no comments? I suggest that we take a 15-20 minute break. We've got a couple more members that should be getting here. And this next part of the agenda is important for everybody.
Ms. Armendariz, we thank you for your presentation, and we appreciate your
I'm sorry, Jennifer, I thought you had the projections for next year on there. That was just a recap, but I thought there was I'm sorry, I thought there was the projections.
No, just a recap.
Okay, so I mean, I was really hoping to go over the projections. Our contract does end on June the 15th, and so I know we do need to do some work to figure out.
I did share with them in closed session the projection, so they are.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, I did have some board members here. You know, we want to perhaps maybe see if we need to revisit the MOU. I don't think it was ever signed between the foundation and the district. And I think the board members, you know, they do feel that we do need some time to really commit to the fundraising aspect now that we have the designation. We have had one orientation, one board meeting, and so we still feel, I think, a bit in the infancy of getting everything going. We have a strong plan ahead, but we are trying to figure out what's the best path moving forward. I don't know if any of the foundation board members wanted to jump in.
Definitely, I agree with what what Adriana is saying. We are in the infancy stage of in our foundation and raising, and we do have plans to help improve and grow the work that we're doing. So we do need to pretty much just make the commitment to do the work.
And we will continue our plan is to continue to work with the foundation. Of course, Adriana and I will have a few things to iron out. And once our board gives us the okay, then we'll move forward.
Okay, thank you all so much for the time and this opportunity. Janice and Yvonne are on the call, and they did the mini fundraisers. So I just want to thank them and for being so gracious to stepping out in the community and representing the school itself and the district, as well as the foundation. And thank you all for the work y'all are doing. We're really looking forward to 2025. We know we can hit that 150,000 projected budget goal, and I'm honestly pretty confident that we can exceed that. We have 3 more board interviews that are scheduled for this month. 3 new members, or 1 is completed. So looking ahead, this board operates very differently. Every board member understands that their role, this is a fundraising board to help meet the needs of the district and provide things for students, teachers, and campuses. So expansion of the board is a critical priority as well. And so I will be looking forward to updating on how that goes. And thank you, Dr. Anderson. I will be speaking with Mr. Marquez today.
All right. Very good. We thank you all. Thank your board members that joined us, and we hope you all have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think you're next up. I think we need to take a break.
That's fine.
Give our other board members a few more minutes to get here.
Have you checked on the ETA?
Mm-hmm. Mr. Nemec said that he was on his way and should be arriving here around 10:30. And then Mirsa is also on her way and said that she would be here around the same time. Oh, I'm sorry. Both Mr. Nemec and Miss Pearson said they would be here around the same time, estimated 10:30.
Like the 20-minute break, come back.
Sure.
And forward that.
Okay.
that our federal revenue has grown significantly this year. This is our first year without having a full year of ESSER revenue, which was part of the COVID. Our local revenue primarily consists of E-rate, which is a program that provides discounts to schools and libraries to help them afford telecommunications, internet access, and internal network infrastructure. The way that the program is designed is that we pay for those services up front, and then we receive a reimbursement percentage from USAC as part of that year program. And the next slide, RMA spends most of its operating expenditures on instruction. This slide shows the breakdown of functional expenditures for the 23-24 and also 24-25 expenditures. This represents a breakdown of our expenses for the general fund and also our food service. Okay.
Next slide, please. Just to go over some of the things that we've been doing this year with technology. We have contracted with a new technology company by the name of Technology Lab. We had previously been using Vector Choice. They had been with the district for quite some time since I have been here. And we have been looking for the past 3 to 4 years, we're looking to replace Vector to help improve our technology responses. We're hoping the Technology Lab will be that company. They do schools across the country. And so we're looking forward to working with Technology Lab. Xerox Office Systems. Last year, our Xerox Office contract was running about $90,000 per year to $100,000 per year. And this year, our contract ended and we had a $1 buyout on all of our equipment. And so what we chose to do, as opposed to go back and purchase new equipment for this next year, we have decided to do the $1 buyout on all of the copier equipment and then just put all of the equipment on a maintenance program, which reduced that number to a fraction of what it was before. So significant savings going into next year with our office equipment. That'll just buy us some time till we can make a decision about what we want to do going forward. New computers, we purchased new Dell laptops across the district as we do annually. We were able to keep up with that. We did use some ESSER money at the end of last year to purchase those computers, and we distribute them throughout the district this year. Classroom digital displays. In the past, we had always used smart displays in all of our classrooms. This is an older technology that required projectors and screens and speakers and devices, and we're in the process of replacing those. Thanks to a T-Class grant, we're able to replace at least 6 of these display devices at each of our campuses for the 4 core classrooms and a couple of distance classrooms. Big performance this year was a cybersecurity audit. This was due in September of this past year, and we completed that audit, and it was accepted by the state, and so we're all clear with cybersecurity, and we're in pretty good shape there. Next slide. Safety and security. This program throughout the district has just exploded. So with the TEA's Texas School Safety Center, you can see all of the items that we track there: school safety standards, emergency operations plans, intruder detection audits. We keep up with that. TEA Sentinel document repository. This is something new that the state has just come up with. They've been developing it over the last couple of years, but they went full blown into it this year. And so with that, we track on our website or on their website, the Sentinel website, door sweeps, drills, intruder detection audits. All of that is done through the new state system where we do all of our reporting. Required training and presentations and postings. These are the other items that we have to keep up with on a regular basis. Standard response protocols, standard reunification methods. So those are all items that we keep up with the state. School safety audits, campus emergency operation plans, crisis management plans, staff skill surveys, campus hazard analysis reviews, committee databases, drill logs, all of those things we do on either a daily, weekly, or monthly basis. And then some of the contract renewals that we had through safety and security. AED 123, they monitor our defibrillators and provide us CPR training for the district. Cascadia Global Security, they provide our armed guards, which are a requirement by the state nowadays. And we also have a doctor that we contract with that keeps all of our protocols up to date for EpiPens and Narcan and those types of items. Next page. Some of the filings that we had to do this year. We completed the basic plan updates and cybersecurity annex, which we turned in. Texas School Safety Conference, we'll attend that. We attended it last year and we'll do it again this year. Prepare for September's TEA visit. This is a new visit that the TEA has pushed out to all of the districts. Before we did safety audits on a 3-year basis. So RMA would do 3 audits per year. And so we would keep up with our 3-year, audit plan. Going forward, the state is going to be doing a district vulnerability assessment. We've gotten our review is going to be September 1st through the 5th. So we'll be preparing for that going into the new year. We must be one of the first schools, if not the first school, to be audited, as this is a new program and it's like the first couple of weeks of school. So
they just some random, or do they all do
all of our campuses will be audited through those 5 days. They'll visit every campus, and we have a schedule for it. Now we do prepare for this. We have Stacy Weaver, who does our safety audits. She does 3 per year, and then we have Mary Lou, who works with my department, who goes out and does an individual audit on every campus at the beginning of the year to make sure they're okay. Normally we fare very well with this, but this is all a new program for the state. So hopefully we'll do well this year. Campus audits complete. Those are the ones I was talking about with Ms. Weaver. And then on the intruder detection audits, where the ESCs come around and visit our campuses once per year. We only had 1 finding this year. As you guys know, we presented that to the board. It was in Houston. We are no longer in the location that created that issue. So we're hoping next year we're shooting for 100%. We've missed one finding, in at each campus, or 1 finding per year for the past 2 years, which is killing me. I want 100%. Next slide. And then once again, these are the school safety audits that I mentioned with School Safety Pros, Ms. Stacy Weaver, who goes around and does that. We have to have a state approved person do those audits, and we're currently in the process of getting our Mary Lou Riojas signed up to do that. So she's working through the process, getting approved. So hopefully going forward, we'll have our own auditor to keep us up to speed. Next slide. Compliance with drill logs. We were at 100% with this. We use our Raptor system. This is all digital now. We've kind of made that transition over the last 2 years. And so we're 100% there. Next slide is our intruder detection audits. Once again, we only missed one. We had one finding at one school this year. And so we're doing our best to finish that up. And I think that's it for me.
Well, and I'm getting ready to go over our academics for last year. I'm really excited, but before I know I'm gonna go fast, but I want to thank all the principals, because we have principals on this meeting, and all teachers and all the staff, because it's them who are actually, as they say, boots on the ground doing the work. To get that in there. All right, so we are right now an 80. We have been verified by TEA, but we have not been certified by TEA. But right now, our district is an 80. That's our score. It was verified by TEA back in October.
Lawsuit.
That's because of the lawsuit.
We should be, because TEA won the first lawsuit for the 22-23 rating, so that was released, and so they expect the courts to follow suit and say you can release the 23-24 any day now. I think they were saying September, Jim, was it by September they expect to release them like that?
That's what I believe. And we talked about the official one at our last board. But this is just what shows our accountability. It is 20% graduation rate, 40% CCMR, and 40% star performance. Our graduates, this year, we had 295 graduates. This is, yeah. Oh, you got the PowerPoint.
I do, yes.
And so by campus, this is how many graduates we had by campus. And this is endorsements. 96% of all of our students had an endorsement. This is one thing we're working on, not just on quantity, but on the quality of our programs and the graduate diplomas that our students are receiving. And again, we've grown. 75% of our graduates graduated with a distinguished diploma, which is the highest level of diploma that the state of Texas confers on its graduates. 96% of our graduates earned a CCMR credit. That's Career College Military Readiness Credit. And I'll talk about that a little bit later. But that's just a profile of our graduating class of 2025. Star performance. I will be honest, we dipped this year with our star performance. We had over 4,000 tests. Our approaches for the year was 33%, and our domain score was a 57 for domain 1. We are already working on how to improve that performance for next year. We've done we're in the process of doing a very thorough audit. I think you have to look at what your weaknesses are in order to make your improvements, and we are currently doing that.
You know, as one of the things I shared with Dr. Gibbons too, that is, again, and the students said it in the survey, consistency. I think that having a consistent staff at these campuses plays a huge role in academics.
Okay. Next is just a brief overview of our CCMR. And I do want to reiterate, when we came, and I say we because I have my partner in crime, Mr. Showers. I know he's out there somewhere. But when we always say we. When we came to RMA, it was less than 5% of students graduated with a CCMR credit. And so since 2021, when I came in the February, we now have 96% of our seniors have a CCMR credit. And I just have some highlights. 93% of our seniors had a CCMR credit from Texas College Bridge. Texas College Bridge is our umbrella, our big foundation. And I want to give a shout out to Ms. White, our new counselor coordinator, because she really has implemented the vision that every student is supposed to take Texas College Bridge. And then over 50% of our students have it in something else other than Texas College Bridge. So over half of our students have multiple CCMR credits. So it's not just one, they have two or more. So again, that's because we're making one embedded and then we showcase the other programs. Okay. And then another huge, and again, shout out to Dr. Lambert, 100%, 100% of all of our graduating seniors who were special ed had a CCMR credit. So again, these are huge highlights. And again, this is a team effort and I just have to give credit where credit is due. Thank you. Again, 96% of our students, next slide, had and that way you can see, but look at that. We have 5 schools where 100% of the graduating seniors had a CCMR credit. You know, if we were talking about STAR, that'd be 100% on STAR performance. That's how impactful this is. In our Texas College Bridge program, we had over 612 students or successfully passed courses. And then we have all of our campuses have a memorandum of understanding. I wanted to say just was it last week? It was just the other day, right? It was this week. We were at a conference because, as you all know, we are Corpus is going to be an early college campus. We got that LASSO grant, yeah. And we just left yesterday.
You were in Dallas yet?
Yeah. Still travel. And we're just yes, he left the urban farm and came. And so we're really excited. We're in the planning stages. We got to meet everyone, and so we're really looking to grow. And we even had opportunities where we might be able to allow other campuses to be a part of that program. Okay, and then we had our DSI. We had 448, and last but not least, and I'm about to do, we had good success with our TSI again. 17 students getting a CCMR credit just because of TSI testing. And with that, I move on to Mr. Showers.
You on, Mr. Showers? You on?
Yes, I'm here. Good morning, everyone. To the board, trustees, Dr. Anderson, colleagues. I just want to share some more detail as it relates to college, career, military readiness, and our CT programs. Thanks, Dr. Givens, for giving a brief overview, but we do have some great highlights as it relates to momentum across the district for college, career, military readiness. Again, Dr. Givens already have mentioned the growth that we've seen over the past years from 5% in 2018 to now over 85% overall CCMR accountability indicators. She mentioned briefly about one of our key highlights this year was our pre-planning for RMA Corpus Christi. Superintendent office just recently signed the final paperwork needed to officially consider us a designation for early college high school there for our Corpus Christi campus, which is a major win that simply means that all students starting the 26-27 school year will be afforded the opportunity to take dual credit courses, make sure they have workforce certifications through our partnership with Del Mar College. And so that is just significant. Not only will our students be graduating from our RMA Corpus Christi campus with workforce certifications, high school diploma, but also they will have the availability to have an associate's degree when they graduate. Also, one of the key points I want to share is our college readiness. Over 425 of our seniors graduated and had access to our Texas College Bridge programs. This year, Dr. Givens gave a highlight the number of students that took TSI, but we strategically this year, historically, we give 2 district-wide administrations. This year, we did 3, making sure that we boost access for students to be able to be prepared, to be able to move on after they graduate and embrace college opportunities. One of the things I do want to highlight on slide 3, is CTE continues to serve as our foundational pillar in preparing students for life beyond graduation. Over 84% of our students was enrolled in at least one CTE course. That is a significant gain from past years. We are especially proud of the increased number of course completion. That means our students are taking the courses and they are completing the courses. We had significant gains through the support of our SPED department under Dr. Lambert. Our emerging bilingual and SPED students had a significant increase in those students taking CTE courses and completing those particular courses. Big shout out to the improvement in the percentage of students that are enrolled in taking and completing CTE courses. On slide 4, this is also another big win. Students with industry certifications. Over 300 certifications was earned across programs this year. I want to pause and give thanks to the board and our superintendent for really supporting one of our largest programs, CTE programs, which is our NCCER certification, which made up 70% of all the certifications our district was able to afford students the opportunity to earn this year. Our NCCER program continues to prove that students has a high interest in high skill, high wage careers. The data reflects that these students are now leaving RMA with credentials that means something in the workforce, that we are preparing students to be able to leave RMA and be able to gain employment opportunities through their NCCER certification. Huge win. We have other programs that we are seeing students gain certifications like our EKG, phlebotomy, medical assistant, and Microsoft Office certifications. But again, NCCER makes up 76% of all of those certifications we gave out this particular year. Also, on slide 5, our last principal retreat, meeting with all the principals, we saw a huge opportunity to implement an initiative district-wide. On the 4th Friday of each month during our 4th term, which is our last 9 weeks of school, every campus hosted career exploration events, which we call Future Focus Fridays. They bring in college recruiters, industry professionals, military representatives. Instead of being able to find ways to take students to these things to make sure students are exposed, we bring the things in-house. And every campus hosts what we call a Future Focus Friday, 4th Friday of each month. Principals, counselors, SELs, all pull together and find all of these different organizations, military, and colleges to come in and do presentations with our students. And we look forward to that being one of our big implementations for our 25-26 school year.
Mr. Showers, if I may chime in on that, I think that this is a win for RMA students. When I go to campuses, Dr. Gibbons heard this 100 times, I ask students, I ask how many seniors, and then I ask them what are their plans. And unfortunately, we have seniors that don't know. And I said, that's unacceptable. I said, we can't just give the student a high school diploma. We got to make sure that they have somewhere to go, whether it be college or military. And so I think that this initiative that they've come up with is applaudable. And I hope that we see higher numbers of kids with a future plan post-graduation. So thank you for creating this.
No problem. And again, Dr. Anderson and board, the goal is to make sure students are knowledgeable and exposed to all the different colleges, trade schools, all the different industries, all the different careers that they can start right after graduating high school. And some opportunities are for students to have while they are currently in high school. So we want to make sure that our students have that type of wraparound service experience, making sure that they're well knowledgeable of all the options they have after graduating. Our next slide, again, I can't show no more excitement than I have in regards to being able to start the planning for our Corpus Christi campus to transition to early college high school. Dr. Givens just shared how our district leadership team just was in training this past Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday there in Denton, Texas. Our principal, Mr. Q, received the training, and we're now at the part where we're going to be receiving some assistance and support, not only through TEA, but we also have partnered with Educate Texas. We have a consultant that's going to be walking us step by step through the strategic planning of our early college high school. When I say planning, this coming year, 25-26, we have a whole year to plan. How are we going to brand this? How are we going to get the city of Corpus Christi to realize this is another great opportunity for students in Corpus Christi? How are we going to recruit new students? It's a whole opportunity for us to not only just rebrand our campus there in Corpus Christi, but also by virtual opportunities. Some of our other campuses can take advantage of these dual credit opportunities.
You got 2 minutes, Mr. Showers.
Okay, not a problem. And lastly, we go all the way down to the last slide. Again, what we've seen with CCMR, CTE, we continue to cultivate a culture of readiness and career, college, and military at every campus. CCMR at RMA is no longer a mandate, it's a movement. And board, I truly hope that y'all are seeing the impacts that our CCMR is making across the district. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning. Hi. My first slides just start off with just giving y'all an awareness of the amount of students that we serve in Special POPs. Important for you to know, between our ESL students and our SPED, we have about 2% that are dually identified, meaning they're both an emergent bilingual student and a student with a disability. And we're serving 191 students in Section 504. Next slide, please. And again, this is our team. This is who are doing the work, right? And so super important for y'all to know that our special education teachers are supported by certified associate teachers. They're important for compliance. Our instructional coordinator and our transition specialist, and of course our school psychologists make up our team. And we can go to the next slide. Our instructional coordinator has created and implemented a SPED teacher handbook. This, of course, has been super important in compliance and just how we are serving the students. In that, each new special education teacher, he's providing hours of training with them. And we also do a weekly check-in. And this is paid off as far as when you think about compliance and us serving the students. Next slide, please. ESL teachers, they soared this school year. We put out an initiative that we wanted to increase our parent engagement activities, and we all know about the research with that. We increase our parent engagement. That gets the parents asking the students what's going on at school at home, right? And so we have to open the doors to the school to those parents, especially the parents of our emergent bilingual students, and make sure that same content is accessible to them as well. So they have, beyond the parent engagement part, the ESL teachers have been meeting with the ELA teachers and pushing out a weekly newsletter and sharing strategies and how to better increase the academic progress of our emergent bilingual students. Next slide, please. Super excited about the parent engagement activities. Of course, Corpus always does it. Corpus and Lubbock. Corpus brought in the author of Coco, who is also a former teacher. And she came in for the parent engagement part. Lubbock campus took our emergent bilingual and some students with disabilities to Texas Tech for a field lesson. And our ESL teacher in Lubbock has partnered with Learning Inc. They actually help our emergent bilingual, any student, but our emergent bilingual students fill out their FAFSA forms and help them access Pell Grants. And so that happened on the Lubbock campus for every emergent bilingual student, believe it or not. Next slide, please. And I just wanted to mention Section 504. I don't think you hear me talk a lot about it, but we do have 191 students, as talked about earlier. And so we provide them accommodations and plan monitoring. And so what that looks like on campus is every teacher is knowledgeable about those students' accommodations, and the principals drive that work. Okay, next slide, please. This year, we were focused on graduating our special education students. We did an increase of 30% of graduates, of SPED graduates, students with disabilities. And so we are able to monitor that by tracking the graduation rates and those students pretty closely. Next slide, please. We also have our transition specialist, and she partnered with Student Services to, if you remember from last year, we had transition meetings on the campuses. And so we opened up the door on the guidance of Dr. Gibbons and added a job fair component to that. And so that was super successful. We plan to continue that on into next year. And we've gotten some positive feedback regarding those transition and job fair collaboration. Next slide, please. All right, what did I want to tell you here? I wanted to let you all know that we in SPED, we are just making strides, right? And so we were able to reduce that results-driven accountability rating, and we're actually a 1, which means we meet requirement. We had not done that in the past six years. And so, and TA has been super complimentary about the strides that we have made in the SPED department. And I could not do that without my team. So next slide, please. All right, we want to continue, just looking ahead, we want to make sure that we are continuing that component of family engagement and continue to focus on the graduation and post-secondary success. Something I did want to quickly note, with our students with disabilities, we're legally required to know what they're going to do post-graduation. And so we are able to report out on that for our graduating seniors. And that is it for me. If anyone has any questions.
I want to kind of give you, so I actually have been in those meetings with parent engagement ones, and I applaud you. It's really nice to kind of see what their questions are and concerns, and it's always about what they're taught in the future. But the great thing is that the learning environment for them has, and every year since I've been on the board, it's always, and this goes for all the departments, it's always been just better and better. So I love the parent engagement and the family engagement that we've done. You know, Corpus has done a phenomenal job, and thank you for that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Lambert. We appreciate you so very kindly. Jim, Polly?
Enrollment attendance is next, with the understanding that enrollment and attendance has been difficult across the state of Texas this school year. So looking in detail at RMA.
And just the image, remember that I sent the board an email with an article that Dr. C shares about finding absentee is among students at home.
So what's showing is at the top left, that chart is average attendance compared to enrollment. And so while the average enrollment has increased during the current school year, which is a positive indicator of growth in community interest, the average attendance has slightly declined, reverting to levels observed 2 or 3 years ago. So it's currently at a 75% attendance rate. To the right of that is the average total enrollment compared to retention. So the average retention has remained steady at 60% over the past several years, indicating that we have a stable core of students who choose to remain year over year, reflecting a baseline level of satisfaction with RMA. And then the bottom left is the student interest in enrolling with RMA. This is our student onboarding system online application, looking at those measures and all those. Student interest in RMA continues to grow, as evidenced by the steady increase in enrollment application over the past several years. The average enrollment still falls short of pre-pandemic levels, reflecting a broader trend seen both statewide and nationally. And then the bottom
gives us that all of the student interest. How do we engage student interest?
And that's when they go into the student onboarding system and just begin an application, show interest in an application, start an application, and we follow that through different steps in that onboarding system to fully vetted application and enrollment. So just starting out with an interest, hey, and we've really gotten better at that this school year, seeing which students are actually just beginning to complete the application. As long as they put a contact number or email address, we'll follow up with them. We saw you were online. We saw that you were interested. Is there any questions you have for us? Can we help you fill out the application? What have you? So the registrars and the principals have been doing that very well towards the end of this year at each of our campuses. And then the bottom right is just the taper information, Texas Academic Performance Report indicators. They are a year lag, but according to taper, RMA continues to show signs of recovery after COVID. And while chronic absenteeism remains a persistent challenge, there are notable improvements in overall attendance and dropout rates, signaling positive momentum in student engagement and retention. And the next slide is just a comparison of student demographics. So top left is enrolled grade level by year over year. In grade 9 share of enrollment increased by over 6%, while grade 10 remained stable at approximately 30%. And after a period of decline, grade 11 rebounded 24% in 2025. In contrast, grade 12 dropped sharply from a peak of 27% in 2023 to just 18% in 2025. So we're getting younger kids, not the older kids. From 22 to 25, on the right-hand side is the ethnicity. And from 22 to 25, student enrollment increased from 64% to 69% for the Hispanic population, reflecting an ongoing demographic shift. African-American enrollment remained stable at 16, while the white student representation declined from 17 to 12%. And then the bottom left is gender. And so from 22 to 25, the gender distribution shifted slightly, with male enrollment increasing from 50 to 55% and female enrollment decreasing from 50 to 45%, suggesting that a growing male majority. And then as far as special populations, which Dr. Lambert just reviewed, but from 2022 to 2025, emergent bilingual student enrollment rose from 11% to 16%, and SPED enrollment increased to 14%. Economically disadvantaged enrollment declined slightly from 90% to 47% over the same period. That's attendance and enrollment. Next is student services.
Let's look for Jim.
All right,
Amy?
Hey, good morning. I'm excited to share the impact and progress of the Student Services Department at RMA for the 24-25 school year. Our focus remains on removing barriers, building support systems, and equipping every student for lifelong success. Student Services plays a critical role in fostering student wellness, academic success, and future readiness. From nutrition to attendance, behavior support, and community connection, Student Services is committed to supporting the whole student. Next slide. Our Charter Nutrition program continues to make a measurable difference, serving over 35,000 meals across the district, ensuring students have the nourishment they need to focus and thrive. Breakfast meals include a whole grain item, fruits, milk, and fruit juice in compliance with the Texas Department of Agriculture. Like all schools and families, RMA saw an inflation of food prices, but with the help of the supply chain grant that was carried over from the previous year, which covered over $55,000 in food costs, plus the mindfulness of our SELs and support staff, CNP expenses ended the year under budget, and our income was 20% over budget this year. Our student and community liaisons are on the front lines every day, communicating with families, identifying barriers to success, and connecting students to crucial resources. They also support attendance recovery to ensure students meet the 90% rule mandated by the state of Texas. Attendance is a key predictor of student success. This year, campuses celebrated perfect attendance through pizza parties, popcorn parties, highlighted students who earned perfect attendance on the campus monthly digital presentation. organized spirit weeks, and hosted college visits to boost engagement and motivation. We know that success extends beyond the classroom. Through the efforts of the SELs and principals, partnerships were created with local businesses, healthcare providers, and colleges, expanding access to services like financial counseling, career planning, and health resources. As required by TEA, RMA continues to monitor and address the needs of our special populations groups such as McKinney-Vento, foster care, and pregnancy-related services with the assistance of the student and community liaisons, registrars, our PRS teachers, and principals. The special population of students that offer special population of these students are offered community resources and homebound services after pregnancy. RMA saw an increase in suspensions with nearly 1,500 total suspension days and a decrease in expulsions from the previous year. The academics team is working to identify root causes and develop more supportive interventions to reduce these numbers. This year we hosted a career fair with the support of the special education department at each campus, inviting colleges, local employees, and military branches. These events helped students explore options, build employable skills, and envision a future beyond graduation. So as we look forward and remain dedicated to supporting students through innovative community-driven strategies that meet their evolving needs. Thank you for supporting our missions and for helping us ensure every student has the tools to succeed.
Amy, questions? Then Christina, and last but not least will be Carrie.
So let's start with a snapshot of this year's hiring and recruitment. We received over 1,200 applications, averaging 11 applicants per posting. This is a strong indicator of our visibility. To compare, rural or other dropout recovery charters typically will receive less than 5 applicants per posting. Our average posting duration dropped to 34 days, which equates to a 19% decrease in our time to fill. This is a significant improvement over the last year and well below the Texas charter average of 42 to 50 days and the industry average of 7. You'll also see average days posted by campus. Sites like Corpus, Killeen, and Amarillo have the shortest timelines. We do currently post on TAPSA, School Spring, with the Region Centers, Talent Ed, and LinkedIn, and we'll continue evaluating which platforms show the best candidates moving forward. Next slide, please. For our key workforce improvements this year, we saw meaningful progress in our workforce health. Our retention rate increased by 10%, meaning more of our staff are choosing to stay with us. At the same time, as they mirror each other, our attrition dropped by 10%, and our fill rate improved by 5%, meaning not only were positions filled more efficiently, but more staff stayed. We have, at this point in the year, we've had 23 fewer separations compared to the previous year. And these aren't just HR metrics, they reflect stronger leadership, clearer expectations, and a culture where people feel supported and want to stay. Next slide, please. When we look at our retention by role, the data reinforces its progress. Our teachers stay with RMA for an average of 5 years. This is more than double what the industry standard is listed. We're also well above the average for registrar, central office staff, and our student community liaisons. Overall, our district average is 3 years, and our trend towards high retention would drive stability and function across all our citizens. Okay, so for our complaints, our approach to resolving complaints continues to build trust. This year, as in previous years, 100% of our complaints were resolved at the lowest level and no appeals were filed. Every response was handled within policy timelines, reflecting consistency and respect. Looking at the 5-year trend, we've maintained a low complaint volume, and all of these complaints have been resolved appropriately. This is a direct result of the district's commitment to transparency, responsiveness, and respectful resolutions. Okay, next slide, please. At RMA, 55% of our teachers are certified. That's 15% higher than the Texas Charter School average of 40%. Even compared to Austin ISD affiliated charters at 59%, we're competitive, especially given our statewide reach and focus on dropout recovery. Texas law does not require certification for most charter teachers, but we do continue to prioritize it anyway, because it means more qualified and experienced workforce and better outcomes for our students. And then this year, just some key wins in the HR department. We hired and onboarded 104 full-time staff and 48 campus substitutes. We maintained and continued to run our 403B and 457B retirement plans, which supports a long-term financial wellness for our staff. We implemented a district-wide tracking application document, which attributed to the shortened hiring timelines. We tailored several different accommodations for staff, and we modernized our background procedure to better align with today's needs. Each of these achievements contributes to a more efficient, compliant, supportive work environment and a supportive work environment for everyone in RMA. And that's all I got.
Christina? Gary?
Good morning. Okay, the first slide. Okay. This is a list of some of the initiatives that we focused on this year with RMA School District. Just to highlight a few, each campus had a monthly calendar with 4 events scheduled for each month. And those were covered by the principal, the SEL, and the counselor. There was also a monthly follow-up meeting to discuss community connections, updates, or any assistance that they may need. RMA went fully digital with our graduation programs this year using a QR code, which seems to not only have been much more efficient, but it also saved quite a bit on expense for the district. We've also moved to a digital business card platform, and that also saves the district money. Student interaction and involvement was encouraged through various contests, our Refer a Friend program, and various other items that we put forward in order to encourage referrals and interaction and engagement from students. In addition, we assisted the Education Foundation, providing district data, of their marketing materials, setting up their social medias, and attending the events. Next slide, Jennifer. We try to focus on student-centered initiatives. We cultivated and established our relationship even further with TPCSA and also Texas lawmakers and the State Board of Education members. TPCSA highlights, as you'll see in the picture, RMA extremely often and frequently on their website and in social media, requesting different videos and student testimonies to feature at conferences as well. Next slide. Here's the information for us on our referral sources. As you'll see, we had 3,214 students actually start an application. And with our referrals, 2,913 listed a referral source. Word of mouth was 19%, student referral was 11%, our website was 13%, and Google was 13%, with 31% of our students selecting other as their referral source. I wanted to focus, and you can read this at your leisure. This is the new website and all the key pieces that it brings. We're extremely excited about the transition to the new website. And at the bottom, you'll notice this year we increased our total website views by over 50,000. And that'll do it for me.
Thank you, Gary. Questions? And if not, that leads us to E, the strategic plan. If it be okay, Yes. I think most of the stuff in the strategic plan has been presented, the postgraduate outcomes and everything of that nature. If the board has no objection, I would invite you to look at the strategic plan pieces, and if you have questions, we can entertain them. But I think that Tammy's given the financial, I think Carl has given the safety and risk mitigation. So instead of going over it again, I would save time. The board, unless a board member objects. Then object on the board.
Go ahead with the legislative.
Yes. All right. As you know, the 89th legislative session ended on May 28th. The bills passed. I wanted to just go through the bills that were passed and what had impact on RMA. And so if you would, I would start with the, you can go on down. I would start with the biggest bill, which was House Bill 2. We were able to host Dr. Buckley at our graduation this year in Killeen, and so we thanked him publicly there. But that was the $8.5 million school finance bill, which is going to, Tammy will be talking about it in her presentation, which could possibly have $1 million impact on the RMA budget going forward if all falls correctly as we run the numbers. Now, were those the, Tammy, were those the MOAT numbers? I keep hearing this MOAT.
Mo Casey.
Yes, MOAT case, yes.
Mo Casey,
Were they
they did runs, so
Okay.
the legislature published runs, and then Mo Casey also did runs based on your student population and what you're currently getting, and then what you will get after in 2025, 2026, and then also the next year as well.
So was it similar to the state runs?
Yes.
Okay, because they, at the conference I was at the other day, they were talking about the Mo Casey runs are more accurate.
There's a lot more detail.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
A lot more detail.
So, which would put us around that surplus. Also, teachers for school districts under 5,000 students would get $10,000 pay increase. Is that correct? It's 2 steps.
Yes, so I don't think it's up to 10. I think it was broken down between 5 and 8.
Okay, was the
yeah,
final?
It didn't go that high.
Okay.
But yes, in our district, it would be broken down between 0 to RMU 3 to up to 5 years. If you're over 5 years, then you would get that higher amount.
Okay, so 5,000 for 0 to 3. Okay, 4,000. Okay, and then if you're over,
and we're basically going to be a pass through for that.
okay,
Like
yes,
the district itself is not going to hold on to any of that money.
it'll come
There's
from the
still,
state.
yeah, there's a lot of questions as to how teachers will qualify for it, and then if they leave us, what happens to the money? So there's a lot of that that still has to be answered. But yeah, it's broken down between district size.
So, and there you have it, the school funding allotment for basic costs, which they call it the ABC. I call this an inflation rider, because that's kind of what it's like. It's gonna come with $106 per pupil, because one of the big arguments was that schools still have fixed expenses. You know, if you have 1,000 kids at a campus, there's still lights, there's still, insurance, and those are fixed costs. So the state passed part of this additional $106, which can be used for transportation, hiring retired teachers, because as you know, we have the TRS, what's it called, TRS? Surcharge, thank you. Health insurance, employee benefits, payroll taxes, TRS costs, as well as utilities. So all of that. And then there was also the teacher additional state aid for regional insurance cost differentials, because everybody knows insurance is rising. I think, Tammy, we've had some of that last year, right, with the flood insurance out in Corpus. And then, as you can see, teacher certification incentives, teacher and staff retention allotments, which will be built into the formula for ABA funding. Also built into that was some safety monies. What was it? 500 million. 500 million. I think it's $55 per kid. Is that about right? You can go ahead and go up and okay, and there's the school funding for teachers. Actually, I had it in here. 3 to 4 years would be $4,000 because we have 5,000 students or less, and 5 years would be 8,000. So that's how that would work. And as you can see, there's a support staff retention allotment of $45 per ABA, for non-teachers and non-admin full-time and part-time positions. Keep going, Sam. Jennifer, I'm sorry. And then also, there are some other things, third grade and literacy. I won't go through those. You carry on. And then there you can see the basic allotment increased to 6,215 plus future increases from Golden Penny Yield. And Tammy, you want to talk about the Golden Penny Yield?
That the charters get a piece of that, but that's mostly relative to ISDs. So it just flows through a certain percentage that charters get. It really doesn't relate to us as much as it does ISDs.
They get a bigger chunk of it. But we used to didn't get any from the Golden Penny charters, so it was a little penny thrown to it. So that we take all we can get. And then the biggest push was for charter school facility funding. And so basically increased, it used to just be $60 million for charter schools to scramble over and we would get a little piece here and there. But now they've actually built in a formula, and I believe it's 0.06 for each student. So ADA is multiplied by 0.06. And so that'll help tremendously. So if a kid was with us the whole year, we would get $372. It would come out to $372.90, which is good because originally when it was the 60 million, you could have had 100,000 kids, you're going to still get the same amount of money. So as enrollment increases or decreases, facility funding increases or decreases. So that's good. The teacher incentive allotment is something that we are going to be implementing. It's been out a while and we kind of heat and hot about it, but a superintendent said it at a round table, said that it did miracles for their district because that's money that the state gives that follows that teacher. And so those teachers are only likely to go to districts that are going to give them, they're not going to walk away from $20,000, $30,000 to go to RMA and leave this bucket of money. So we need to be a school that's in line to be able to say, yes, we will provide that same bucket. The state can pass, the state just passes it through to the district and then we pay it to the teacher. So it follows them. Next. Okay. And there is some CTE for PTEC and CCMR outcome bonus for special ed, which we would do really well because it was 100% of our special ed students. So that would help us tremendously as well. And then the adjustment for SPED, the SPED allotment has been changed as well based on the need for support services because in the past it was just an amount. And that amount was what that amount was. And as I've seen on those check payment lists that I get, the cost of SPED services is certainly increasing. It's not getting cheaper. So we're grateful to the state for that. Next, anything else, Ms. Cooley? There are some other things. I'm not going to go through all of those. Keep going. No. Now there are some other, keep going, yes, right, yeah. There are some crazy bills. As I told the board yesterday, there's House Bill, Senate Bill 10, which requires the 10 Commandments to be hung in a poster format in the schools. There was also the cell phone bill that the legislature passed about banning cell phones, but it's at the governor's desk. Some say the governor may not sign it, and some say he will. So we'll see if he signs it. We already take up the kids' cell phone, so it really wouldn't have an impact anyhow. But there will be, if it's signed by the governor, schools can mandate that students leave cell phones at home. So that's how far that bill goes.
Armies actually uses an example of how we collect cell phones.
And so that's the House Bill 1481 that you can see there. I think. Oh, and then one that affects the board, if you go back up, that House Bill 210 basically just says that if a board member is a family or a relative or has a vested interest in another party, that the business, that the district can't do business with them as a vendor.
We put that in our policies too.
Yes, because we do the audit where we have to disclose that too. When the audit comes out, you all get those forms that you have to verify that there wasn't this. All right, you can go ahead. And there's, let's see, the restriction on freight shipping costs for instructional material. That is one. And I think that That is really it.
Yeah.
Oh, Senate Bill 569, Dr. Gibbons is working with Joe Hoffa's office about the virtual school. And so we will be bringing some more information about that. I know she has the flexible option day on the agenda.
They've already passed it.
Oh, yes.
Submitted it.
Yeah, okay, that was right. That was last session. We had it on there.
Oh,
And so we will be bringing that. Senate Bill 1619, the use of EpiPens, we already are on that ship there. That's why we have the doctor and so on and so forth. And then Senate Bill 207, excuse absence for mental health appointments. There was some legislation on that. And I think, carry on. Yeah. And I think that is really safety allotment. I think that will Senate Bill 981, let's see, trying to absence student at risk, prayer, which we talked about. Okay. That is, I think those are all remains. So I think. Questions?
On the facilities funding, do we know what the details that we use to debt service or new construction or in your all?
I do know if you're 2 years of poor performing, you won't get it. I do know that if a district has 2 consecutive years of poor performance, F or D, you won't get it. You won't be eligible for it. But
We should be able to use it, but the details aren't really out yet. We've been able to use it for all sorts of facility funding in the past, so I can't imagine it's different from that. But a lot of these details, they're just really not, they haven't made it out from TEA yet.
Seem like it turns out to be a significant amount of money. Out of what 0.6 or what number estimate is. The banker ought to be handy.
Yeah. And I will say this too, that I misspoke on, when I talked about I called it the rider, inflation rider, that's not ADA based, that's enrollment based. That money is going to be built off of, they'll do snapshot, which will probably be October, and you get that money based on the enrollment. So that inflation rider is not going to be tied to ADA, because I think I said that originally, but it's an enrollment dollar amount for that allotment basic cost. Oh, yeah, allotment basic cost formula. So it'll be based on enrollment.
So we're gonna work towards maybe 30 or something in our moment, right? And this was in for special education, right?
No, that was for like your insurance and healthcare and payroll taxes, things like that. Because those are more your fixed costs. Once you start, you got teachers, and then that's fixed cost, so it would take some of that, take some pressure. Okay. Anything else, Mr. Clemens?
I just heard a rumor last week that somewhere in the stack of bills with the bill that has a rider on it, that if it's signed, the rider doesn't have anything to do with the bill. Will require TEA to do an investigation of the commissioner of TEA. Or whether that's true or not true, it's time to tell. I don't know.
And there's a lot of probably, with all these bills that's been sent to the governor, a lot of them may not get signed because of things like that, riders that senators were trying, or legislators trying to get pushed through, and it worked. So, other questions? Then next item of business is, you want me to carry on? Ratification of contracts?
So where are we down to?
We're at the approval of contracts now.
Yes.
Okay.
So we're
at action items.
Then if you want to go down, we have one to be ratified, which is Time Clock Plus, which was for 2859, which was signed by me. That isn't necessary, so you have to pass that one because that's how we pay the employees the Time Clock software that we use. Any questions?
Well, I'll make a motion that I move the board approve the contracts listed in Exhibit 1 and ratify the contracts listed in Exhibit.
I second.
Motion second, vote. Ms. Thompson?
Yes.
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 We're close. That's term vote.
Me. Okay. On page 208, you'll find, the 2024-25 adopted budget and also the 25-26 proposed budget for Fund 420. This is our general fund. We have estimated for our budget that our attendance funding will be based on 1,215 students. That is an enrollment of 1,555 students with 78% attendance average. This will provide revenue of approximately $15.6 million. Additional sources of revenue are E-rates, lease revenue, and also bank interest. To provide a little bit of context here for these numbers, our current summary of finance is 1,120 ADA. We have budgeted approximately an 8% increase for next year. We feel like this is a realistic but healthy goal. Our 25-26 ADA is within 10% of our current ADA number. Our current allotment per student, based on those runs, is 12,885. That is what we're using for this budget. Compared to 24-25, our allotment at that time was 11,624. We've talked about it a lot today, but after House Bill 2 from the 89th legislature, we expect that our allotment will further increase to $13,835. But that has not been built into this budget at this time. Details are still flowing. We're still waiting for final information, so we based it on our current runs instead of that House Bill 2 increase. We've decreased our overall expenditures in Fund 420 by nearly $200,000. We can see from each of these different functional expenditures how much they went down between instruction, curriculum, leadership, all the way down. We had the sharpest decline in function 51, which is our maintenance. We did not budget a lot of campus improvements for next year. And then that took a big chunk off of that. And for function 53, there was also a big decrease there. We are going with a new technology vendor that Carl spent some time talking about. So there's that decrease. And we have opted out of that refresh for printers and copiers coming back this year. Function 71, we did refinance those loans for Fort Worth and Amarillo with a little bit of a lower interest rate, so we can see that reflected there. The CNP function down there at the bottom where it says 00, we're expecting a little bit higher increase there just because that supply chain has been exhausted. And we don't have any of those funds to use next year for the CNP program, so we're expecting a bit more in that area. This budget does not have any increases built into it. As House Bill 2 information comes down, the teachers will get the obligated staff increase that was mandated by that. Going down to page 209, this is the proposed budget for Fund 240. This is our food service program. We've estimated revenues at $70,000. As indicated, we spent the entire supply chain grant, so we recognized all of that income in the 24-25 year. We estimated maybe another small grant that we might be able to get full year with the big one exhausted. These expenses, it's all one function, but just to elaborate on what goes into those food services, we have about $124,000 for food. As Amy touched on, the inflation is still there for food prices. About $22,000 for supplies and also equipment. $16,000 for technology software for Meals Plus. We have some money for permits and licensing and a little bit of campus travel. The $102,000 that you see up top there is the loss that would be absorbed in Fund 420, which was also shown on the previous page. Are there any questions? about the details. Or any comments?
Questions, comments? Entertain a motion to accept the Board of 22 waivers presented.
I move the board approve proposed Fund 240 budget and proposed Fund 240 budget for 2026 school year.
Second.
Second, Ms. Thompson. Ms. Pearson.
Yes.
Schwann.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Mr. Nimitz, yes. I'll vote yes. Motion carries.
Yes, I'm going to turn this over to Jennifer. This is her neck of the woods about all the amendments for the bylaws and the changes for the address. As you all know, the new office address will be the Fort Worth campus, so there's some logistical things that will need to be taken care of. So I'll turn it over to you, Jennifer.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Good afternoon. So we are requesting to approve the Third Amendment Articles of Incorporation. And like Dr. Anderson mentioned, as the changes in those articles, and I will show a sample here shortly. We did update the address listed for the Board of Directors. We do want to make sure that all of our information is consistent throughout all of the systems that we have to use and all of our government documents. So the first update was the address for Board of Directors. And of course, we also updated our roles within our board. My understanding is this is a structure that we had in place before, and our current bylaws and our current articles of incorporation did not reflect that. So the change was made here. So as you can see, number one is our board president, and we now have the address of our the new address that we are using for our central office. We have our vice president with the same address. We have a second vice president, our secretary, and treasurer. These same changes were made in Article 4 of the Articles, which just is the same, again, reflecting the changes that we made throughout our government documents and also reflecting accurate information.
And this hasn't been submitted yet, or?
I'm sorry, what was that? We have not submitted in. No, this is only to approve the edits. There's a whole process, but this is just the first part that we need to take. Down here, you will see we just made some minor edits where we've showed that this is the third amended Articles of Incorporation if approved. We have kind of established a timeframe as to when the previous Articles of Incorporation were amended. So it kind of keeps a log, if you will, of what changes were made and when. And then we just updated the current articles to reflect our current board members as well.
Question, comment?
Any concerns?
I guess we'll see this now. I know that we're looking to do, voting for the rest of the, but we're voting.
For election.
Elections, yes.
I have loved serving as your secretary. I think this year we have as a board member. my responsibilities have gotten quite heavy, and I just don't feel that I am doing the necessary, to be your board secretary at the current moment. So with that said, would we remove the vice and then just go back and to include the board member position in there? And that be done?
Yes, so what we can do is, based on, guidelines and also, yeah, so based on guidelines and, conversations that we've had with, legal counsel, just to make sure that if we were to submit this, TA and, Secretary of State would not approve them. So we wanted to make sure that it was something that was acceptable for everybody. We do have to have a president, a vice president, a secretary, and a treasurer at minimum. The fifth position can be any other position that we deem necessary at the moment. And then, of course, any changes that happen must be reflected at some point with the amendments. So we can definitely do a different option.
We'll talk about that in the next.
All right.
So that being said, if we're gonna make different, yes, we would circle back on these. And so I believe the next 4 topics all tie into the bylaws. Yes, that we can all do that afterwards, or if we wanna bring this back to a different board meeting, we can definitely do that as well. Right after? Okay, yeah. So then I will skip all of.
Okay.
Maybe that.
Of course.
How we could do that?
Do we want to go into closed session?
What's the?
After.
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah, we would they would go into
Okay.
their discussion about their board elections and what position, and it just makes it easier instead of having the discussion.
Okay, so then,
Fine, I'll just like to have just one executive session, one closed session. I prefer to have that. The only thing we have to come back to deal with is that have to be dealt with based on the closed session.
Okay, so do we want to take,
So is this,
We do a vote
all this, anything we come to that we're gonna take an action on, and we won't executive session part of the action. Just put it aside and deal with, rather than going to closed session.
I'm okay with going straight to our elections and then discussing this, probably it's okay. I don't have anything to. Whatever makes it easier. I can hear it.
I just like.
Yeah, one-
Get in the closed session one time and deal with everything.
That's okay.
And I know we have at least one other item to deal with, and so.
Well, I mean, you
I
don't have to, you have to discuss the role openly if that's what you all want to do. I'm just.
no, and I was also gonna suggest, the, bylaws and the articles can be circled back to a different board meeting if there's any other changes that we need to make after discussions or after the elections.
So then I guess we'll table all of this.
We definitely can, and we can do, yeah.
So then what's next after your?
After all of,
A little bit of education on somebody that has for some of this be sent out.
yes, I did.
And I looked at all that, it looked like a good part of that back to previous. I don't know if anybody's on the board that was house.
Yes.
And that's not a problem, but I guess I'm catching up.
Yes, so after taking a look at it, we definitely do need to update. Yes, we definitely do need to update them.
I wasn't really sure whether we were adopting something that previous board had approved.
Yes, yes.
It's been sitting, waiting, so if it's been waiting for action 3 or 4 years, I'm.
No, it was approved.
It was approved, they were submitted, they just have not been amended.
This happened, I remember Becky was the one that.
This
Made
happened,
the change. It goes about 2 years ago when something like that.
And class.
Because there used to be two secretaries, you remember that, we had an assistant
Yes,
section secretary, and then it went to, so that was, I think, what.
That was
Then,
2001.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I think Ms. Thompson,
And she was, I was here, and Ms. Thompson, I know was here. So what do we want to do, Mr. Clemens?
I'd like to just table this, and
We definitely can.
have looked ahead to see what.
I think the easiest would be just to.
We can-
let them do this, or,
Oh, whatever you go.
oh, we have to update it too, right?
I would have to update it, so we can circle this back for
Maybe
the
a special.
July meeting.
Well, they can, or you can come back before this meeting's over, and you all can approve them, I mean, it's.
I would suggest that we take this into, closed session when we come out.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. That's fine.
To the original suggestion.
That is okay, yeah. So after all of the action items that are related to the articles and the bylaws, we are at action item H. And that is Carl.
If you want to grab lunches and keep working, but would that be okay, Mr. Clemens, just to let everybody get their lunch real quick and?
Sure, minute.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll work on the move, you want to. Give us 10, 15 minutes, what do you suggest?
Just, yeah, 10 minutes, everybody can get their lunch and then we can just work through, have continue to move while people leaving, I think it's. So to save time, I think everybody has one agenda. We don't.
Like stay by my mom the whole time.
All right, man.
Right.
Right.
Back in session at 12:17. Next item.
So the administration will be presenting the board with their selection for an architectural engineering service proposal for the RMA 2528 projects. On a task request basis, administration will also request the delegation of authority to the superintendent or his designee to negotiate the contract. So our contract with our architect expired in December of last year. And so as we move into the possibility of starting up some additional projects, and also there's always things that crop up where you need services with an architectural engineer. We're proposing that we add PBA Douglas as our architect. In the past, we had used the services of Marlon Mock. Our principal in charge at Marlon Mock was Monty Howard, who did the Danville services there. And Monty successfully helped us with our Pasadena project, our Corpus project, the original Midlands project. So we worked with Monty a long time, and he's changed firms from Marlon Mock to TBA Douglas, and we're just asking for approve a contract with TBA Douglas, and Monty will be our principal in charge.
I can say after reading these 600 pages really thoroughly. I'll move that the board selected firm TBA Douglas as the most highly qualified provider of architectural engineering services for the RMA 2528 projects on a task request basis and delegate to the superintendent or his designee the authority to negotiate a contract. The presented to the board.
I second the motion.
Motion second. Vote.
Yes.
Yeah.
Simone.
Yes.
I'm not listening. Yes.
A vote yes. Motion carries. We have a new architect.
What page is this?
This is page 356.
So with, now that we have an architect selected, we have a task request for them, staff request that the board approve, a B221 task request for architectural and engineering services for architect TDA Douglas for the RMA Fort Worth renovation project, including possible delegation of authority to the superintendent or his designee to execute the task request. So as the board has requested that we move forward with renovations in Fort Worth, will require an architect to put together a scope of work that we can put out to bid for that project so that we can get contractor service for that project should we approve or decide to go forward with it.
Questions, comments?
Since do we have to vote on this considering that it's already covered in the first? Wouldn't it already be covered by the first,
This is for them to begin the work. on
Oh.
Fort Worth.
The first one is just to select an architect, and then the architect can only do projects that we assign to them. And this would be the first project that we will assign to them. And this would be necessary, not only to put the project out to bid, but also to get financing from the bank, because the bank requires documentation and plans and for a project.
I know that the board select TDA Douglas as the architect of the Fort Worth renovation project based on the demonstrated competence and qualification for their delegated authority to the superintendent or the discipline to negotiate an agreement for a reasonable fee and a task request for approved by legal counsel. But if an agreement cannot be reached for a reasonable fee, then the superintendent or the city may rank and select other architects or engineers based on this demonstrated competence and qualifications and negotiate an agreement for a reasonable fee. In the form approved by legal counsel for the board to consider at a future board.
Motion second. Vote. Vote yes. Thompson.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes.
Yes.
I vote yes. Next item.
This is 366.
Okay. So as RMA evolves as an organization, we are diligently working to deliver consistent facilities management throughout the district, ensuring all of our sites remain safe and healthy. Additionally, we aim to lessen the burden on educators by shifting the responsibility of building management to the central office to bolster our facilities expertise and enhance planning and operation efficiency. We plan to engage Jingo Facilities LLC, a comprehensive facilities management and consulting firm to oversee RMA facilities. So with that, we're asking the board to approve the contract for Jingo's facility management and grant Dr. Anderson and I the ability to finalize the negotiations.
We did get them down 30,000 from where they were, 36,000 from where they were. The last contract is for 3 years.
For how much per year?
This contract.
3 years. This is a 3-year contract.
Is that what this one?
The last one was
a
5-year.
So this is a contract for 3 years with 2 1-year options.
And how much is a contract per year?
650,000.
Not, yeah, because what, we were 686.
Well, so then my question is, are we spending that amount on facilities to justify the cost? Like if we were to look at the cost of it individually.
We used to do that, and it was way more.
We did that prior to our contract, using a facility management company. And it was in excess. And Tammy, I don't recall.
Well, like 800,000.
It was considerably more
Prior to Kinko?
Yeah,
prior to Jingo.
we were spending more because remember we ran the numbers.
They've been here for a short time before that, but Django came on relatively right when.
Yeah.
But remember, we ran the numbers before we
I,
went to Jingo. You ran the, because remember, we all sat down and you ran the numbers of what we had spent. So,
I'm not necessarily convinced that the expense for a lot of middle of this. It's a different situation now. We have fewer and better facilities. We're improving all the time with what we have to maintain. At that time, all of our HVAC need to be replaced. We got even brand new facility. Yes, that's falling apart. We have a lot of things going on. I'm not necessarily opposed to the conference.
So did we?
I would like to think about making it short enough term to give us some time to figure out how to come up with a proposal to pay for this. Related to our size and our revenue. So our revenue related, last time we had a 5-year contract. And during that contract, our state revenue dropped 30-40%. And we were locking some contracts that called for more money. I think, as we talked about years ago, the contract in Houston, contract to our student enrollment and our revenue. How much money was somehow related.
I have had that conversation with vendors and that what I'm discovering is some of the things that they pay for are fixed costs. So they pay for all of the fire and safety expenses on all of the campuses, landscaping, janitorial services. And while the student population may fluctuate up and down, those, it's the square footage of the building doesn't change. The yard work doesn't change.
But what we can afford changes.
So
What we can pay for. And if we have to reduce staff or only mow the yard once a month instead of once a week.
well,
I don't want to hold the process up now, but I think we need to have start a contract, and we need to spend some time, hire a consultant, do whatever, figure out committee, whatever, figure out how we can relate this.
because I do know when we took it out to bid, CBRE came back at over $1 million. And I think given the cost of inflation and all of that, I think for them to be able to lower their price was impressive to me. But we can work on a shorter term contract or an enrollment-based contract, ADA-based contract, and see if we can get something done. But have been with them 5 years and them not increase the price, I think that in itself is pretty stable. Because inflation will get you.
So so would you like to approve the contract for one year? And
Say
then
2 years, I'm not sure at the rate we move forward on some of these projects, we don't need 2 years to do it. That's talking about me, us, all of us. And,
So we're saying if Jingle decides to go into the 2 year, that we'll.
yeah, and we may then come back and we'll extend to 15 years, but I still think it needs to be tied
To an ADA.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we can see our whole operation is butts in the seat. And I understand, I've been a vendor as a vendor, I'd rather not do that. Because all vendors have fixed costs. But I have a hard time missing the people paying the bill sometimes.
Right.
That was
Yeah, I think that's where I stand too. It's just we saw the budget for this past year and it was it's just hard to justify. But I know that it's needed. I'm not sure it's justification is the right word, but and I see what Mr. Kern was saying, that you don't really see where what the future is, and in fact the cost would have to get into fixed costs on something.
well, I would use carpets as an example of just the problem with maintaining the old Carpets campus was a wreck. And we moved in now a really fine facility, and so it's got to be cheaper to maintain. It starts looking good, it seems to be keep looking good and try to make.
So do you want us to go back for a 1 year or 2 year?
On this, since I don't think in a year, that we would come up with a proposal, how we think this should be funded. And even that, then we got to negotiate, find someone.
And Tammy, with the facility funding, will that be used, on facilities? Was it the Jingo with the equipment facility funding?
Not that I've seen.
You got.
No.
We've had the contract for 5 years. We've had Jingo for 5 years. And now they decrease the cost, like how much?
30,000, we negotiated them down, it's 30,000. Competitive bids, we just kind of took that.
Since you didn't negotiate, if you went back for a 2-year contract, what do you think that company?
I think they took it to you.
I think they would.
With a 1 year option. We go back to the 2 year with 1 year option. They do.
I'd be okay with the 2, and we have to give them
And then 1 year.
6 months notice for the end of that 2 years. If we really think we're gonna go back out of this, we think we have a better solution or a better solution for us, one that we can afford at this time in 3 years, instead of being up to 1,500, we're down to 9.
Considering the state of the nation, the United States and the state of our school, I would suggest that we approve it 50 years. Sure. I would do it. Negotiated the contract with Jingo Facilities LLC for facility management services and all on the existing facilities.
I'll second that one.
So, then I guess with a suggested motion, just add in the council to the third. For us to negotiate a contract, not just.
And if approved, and if approved.
Okay.
For 2 years.
For 2 years. If Jingo says yes for 2 years, then we'll fine with that.
Okay.
The motion is second, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Like that.
Yeah, yes. Yes. We'll abstain for it, and may have a.
All right. Well, you can.
Did we vote on this? Did we finalize the vote?
Yes.
Roll call?
Sorry.
Did we have a roll call on this? A complete roll call? Yes? Okay.
Will it pass? For 2 years, okay.
If Jingo says yes.
This is page 446.
Now, let me say this about this. It is one of the very few security companies that can provide security to all 9 campuses. So if you all don't go for this one, we may we may not have security, but this is one of the few that can provide security for all 9 schools. And they own security, and they're doing it at $29 an hour, whereas most companies want well over $30 an hour for the own security. In Fort Worth, they want 50 to 75.
And we kind of negotiated a part of the contract with them is that if we have a security officer, they'll start at, or the price is $26. And then if the security officer stays over for an additional year, then there's a built-in $1 raise for the security officer per hour. So even though we say we're gonna do $29 per hour, it won't apply to every officer every year. It'll start at a lower rate, and that there's built-in raises for them should they decide to stay. which we felt was in part important because it's difficult for our security officers to take these jobs. They don't get paid during Christmas. They don't get paid during the spring break. They don't get paid during the summer. So having the built-in raise if they stay over a year worked out really well for us, I think.
They make relationships with our schools as
Yeah.
well. I've seen that where they're known by our staff and our students that they feel an obligation to our school.
Yeah.
That's important.
So with that, RMA seeks to extend the existing partnership with Cascadia Physical Security for an additional 3 years. We've been with them since 2022. Cascadia has consistently delivered outstanding service and support, enhancing the security posture of our campuses and assisting our central office. Their commitment to excellence and attention to detail have significantly contributed to our overall operational efficiency. And I'll also add in, it's part of their services is all of our doors are barcoded, and our security officer goes by and checks all exterior doors 2 times a day, interior doors during every class period. And all that information is documented, and we're required to turn that into the state. So it's pretty significant.
Did you say?
Yes.
Any question?
I move to approve the contract and authorize the superintendent and says we to move forward with the agreement of Cascadia Building Security to provide stores and security officers at 9 Ariana Cancer School, the 27th school year.
I'll second.
We have a motion, second, vote, Ms. Pearson.
Yes.
Yes.
Then,
Yes.
I'll vote.
Then we have the proposal, again, if you recall, last board meeting, Jennifer discovered that we have to, the board has to vote to be able to use the consent agenda. And that was the last meeting of the school year, so the next, board meeting will be the first board meeting of the new, school year on July 20th or whatever that is.
24th, if
24th.
approved.
So, we're asking the board to approve the use of the consent agenda for the 25-26 school year. And which Mr. Clemens and I will meet, and we will work through and agree on what we feel should go on the consent agenda. And then Jennifer will send out the consent agenda agreed on by Mr. Clemens and I to the rest of the board. And you would have the option to say, I would like to take this off to discuss further before the meeting. So
And you feel like that we have to do this annually rather than doing it permanently and then acting to cancel it, you know, like.
Necessary, if we do it in the year.
earlier,
Yes,
I think Jennifer said by the Secretary of State is,
yes. So it is suggested to do it yearly. And of course, a consent agenda might not be used at every board meeting, but doing this at least once a year, you have the option to use a consent agenda as you see fit throughout the school year.
Move the board adopt the rule of order that it can utilize the consent agenda process for the 25-26 school year board meetings.
A second.
Got a motion, second.
oh, yes.
Yes.
Here's a yes.
Vote yes. Action carries.
The election of Roswell. Council, you said you prefer to go to closed session for the officer discussion.
We can postpone it until we do those 2 items after the closed session.
We already.
Mr. Clemens wants to go. You
When we're done, oh, that's it, right? No, we have one more.
we have the schedule.
We would have the schedule.
Schedule. What else we have?
After that, it would go into closed session.
And we go.
Mr. Clement, Ms. Pearson is requesting to go ahead and approve the board meeting schedule first. So moving in up.
Okay, for the main schedule. We have
All right, so up on the board, I asked Jennifer to work, because we kind of sometimes got out of succinction. It used to be third Friday or third, then it started being Thursday and not Friday, well, this Friday and this. So we tried to just keep it, but there was some board meetings that we couldn't avoid because of reporting requirements, like the financial audit and the taper report. So we had to kind of float the schedule around on that, but we tried to keep it all on Friday, unless the board prefers Thursday, but I'd like to keep it all consistent. And to me, Fridays just seem, but I know sometimes you all have to travel and you may want to not be traveling on a Friday. So do you all want to do a Wednesday or Thursday? We can do Sunday morning. I mean, whatever you all want. So, but I prefer we just keep it on a set date or a day of the week instead of the fluctuating between Thursdays and Fridays. And so what are your thoughts? This is what we propose on this calendar year. I asked the central office to look over it as well to make sure that you're comfortable with it. Board members?
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
okay with that.
Do we have I guess a motion in there that would say the flexibility if need or any changes needed?
We didn't put it in there to modify, but you can make that motion.
So far, Fridays to me.
Fridays.
And we can make a motion and to amend as needed. I mean, if you want to
Yes.
make that motion, then we can.
Like we do that anyway. So.
Yeah. Because I think we used to put an asterisk up under the schedule that used to say can be modified by the board. But yeah.
Well, we do have this statement here. At a time, yeah. At a time, so I mean, I think the date would also count as time. If y'all are in agreement of that, that's a statement that we've always used. Yes.
You know, once I put these dates on my schedule, y'all change, I can't make the board meeting.
And as soon as this is approved, I would send it out to you all and Austin as well.
Okay.
Like that Sunday morning, I did this.
I'll make a motion.
Yes, it's only a day difference. It was only a day difference. Yes, we met November 8th last year.
Yeah, normally it's the last week of October, actually.
What
Of
day
September.
earlier?
So
I think that the November meeting seems just a little bit early for the audit. We're always cutting it to the last, so Thanksgiving is that last week in November, so we actually have 2 more weeks after that, is that correct?
For work, yes.
The annual report will be due the 27th according to statute. So I don't know if anybody
Do you want to move it?
move that down.
Liz, might as convey that.
So you mean move it to like the 14th week of the
Maybe the
14th?
week after, at least maybe the week
Yeah, like
after.
the 14th.
The 14th.
Yeah. I would prefer we leave it at least 1 week, after like the 14th or the 21st. I know, well, the 21st is the last day we're in the office, so that's kind of close, but
We
it's
can
always
move to the
really great
14th.
to get the auditors, to get the reports out in time. And
We just wanted, because I think the once before last year it was the 8th, or this past year was the 8th.
It was. Mhm.
So, but we'll put the 14th.
We will.
Thanksgiving was a week early.
And that may have been.
I think there was an extra,
Thanksgiving was such an odd time.
I think there's an extra, there you go. There was, yes.
Messing with my calendar all year.
Yes.
So you'll change it if the board, no objection to the 14th?
If no objection, yes, I will change it. Okay, yeah.
Jim, you're okay with your public hearing?
Yeah.
Any other dates that we need to look into? And then, of course, we also added the May. Yes. No, we'll change this here to the 14th. Um,
I like the, my meeting.
Okay. So she, and May would be Friday, so
okay. Okay, so we lock in the May meeting as well? I did not, I heard my name.
February is very important meeting, okay?
I remember, yes, yes, it's on my calendar.
Yeah.
And I will deliver. Okay, I will deliver.
May 22nd, my daughter's gonna be graduating high school that day, so if we can look at another day, it'd be good.
Oh, there's
If not,
graduation.
Yeah.
do you want to do that Thursday? You want to do Thursday?
Thursday?
We'll move that one to the Thursday, yeah. That's what. Get that.
I think it's pretty important.
So it would be May 21st.
Any other changes for?
Did we want to discuss a location?
No, because that kind of fluctuates. We'll.
As the meetings come up? Okay. Okay.
I'd like to get one in Corpus though next year, I think would be a really good suggestion. Nowhere else to lose one.
Our March meeting was supposed to be, it was scheduled to be in Corpus, but then we moved it to virtual last minute.
All right.
Okay, so with our November meeting being moved to November 14th. And then our May meeting will now be Thursday, May 21st. Any other changes? Any other issues?
And we're all good with the annual meeting on the 2 day. And if it's not necessary, we'll modify it.
Yes.
Once we create the.
We're moving the virtual to Facebook first.
Yes, we are.
I'll say I like next year it not being on Father's Day weekend, this annual board meeting. It's
Oh,
better
that's
having it
right.
off. And I was gonna actually suggest that, but it just fell in line this year, so I like that. Right.
Let's schedule that May one on Mother's Day.
I would not.
My hand won't move.
I heard nothing.
Do we have a motion to accept this calendar as presented?
Have a motion?
I move the board adopt the proposed 2025-2026 RMA board with correct meeting schedule.
Second. Motion second.
I vote yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
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 I vote yes. We have a calendar. The entrance there. That is certainly changed. I'll bet we did. I don't know. Sure.
Only day flex to the Sundays.
Yes. And, ready for executive session? Yes. It's 12:49. Starting the executive session.
No, because they're all here. Can you just turn off the camera?
Comments, and good to see everybody.
Is there any way, your presentation, we can coordinate,
We are coming out of the session. 2:48 on my Apple Watch.
Mhm.
We have, a couple of action items, resulting from this, closed session. First, found that you, motion relating to.
Yes.
Superintendent's compensation.
Yes, yes, well, it's all right for sure. Okay, for a 3-year period, beginning with the TRS calendar year, beginning in September of 2025, the superintendent bonus incentive will not be offered, and the superintendent TRS contributions will be reimbursed per pay year for 3 years.
I second the motion.
We have a motion second vote, Ms. Pearson.
I think that, it's a no for me, not because I don't like it. I'll explain. Okay.
Ms. Thompson.
Yes.
Yes.
I vote yes.
Vote yes. Action item, coming out of this, election of officers. Do we have a motion for, any officer nomination?
I'll make a nomination. I nominate Bob Robert Clements as president for next year. Mr. Bound as vice president. Ms. Pearson will be a board member in the last position, which currently is entitled second vice president. However, those bylaws might be changed. And then Ms. Thompson, I would nominate her as treasury, and I would nominate myself as secretary for this next school year.
I second that motion.
Motion second for officers, any, motion second vote, yeah.
I'll vote yes.
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 Well, I'd like for you, since you're the vice president, I'd like you to stay between me and the windows and all meetings now, so that somebody takes a shot.
Yeah.
Get me the.
Stand guard.
I know this is a bad job. You would love that. Meeting starts.
No,
Public comments? Do we have?
are we gonna circle back to the bylaws this meeting, or are we gonna do that at a following meeting?
We're gonna do it at a policy meeting and bring it back at the fall.
Perfect, perfect. All right. Well, Mr. Clemens, no public comments received? No public comments received.
I suspect, way things are going, the first public comments we ever have will be mine. So,
Oh.
say what you want.
Okay, thank you for the heads up. Okay. Okay, meeting adjourned?
Yes, we're adjourned. Yes, I have, I'm sorry.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Disappointing.